Naruto, starting the live broadcast to the ninja world. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination, so don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author, we are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you'd like to support us and access extra content, we are now on Ko-Fi with open arms. Chapter 476 Happiness. Naruto was outside the toilet door, urging, "Come out first. I can't hold on any longer." Just then, the announcement sounded. "Next is the final race, please assemble quickly." Naruto lay on the ground, wailing in pain. Every minute and every second now is torture for him. After a while, the sound of flushing was finally heard from inside. Naruto stood up hastily. "Is it coming out? Is it coming out? Shino, hurry up." After he finished speaking, the door was unlocked and Shino walked out just as Naruto was about to go in. Shino blocked his way. "Now you have to be patient." Screen turn. Naruto was carried out of the bathroom wrapped in bugs. "What are you doing? Let me go. Let me go." Shino in front put his hands in his pockets. The final relay race is a decisive battle. You who are in the lead cannot be allowed to escape. This is the rule. Naruto cried out, "Idiot. I can't do anything about you, Ninja World." Did Shino misunderstand something? Shino little brother is very brave. Now you dare to let Naruto's butt face the back of your head. It's coming out. It's coming out. How pitiful. Ha ha ha. Pure land cushion. I couldn't bear to watch any longer. If I really can't hold it back, then, it's better to be embarrassed than to ruin your health on screen. Everyone, take your positions. Preparation. Bang sound. Game start. The girls in the team ran forward with all their might. Naruto, who was not far away, had a blue Ford and kept muttering, "Sakura, hurry up, hurry up." Sakura and Ino left a trail of dust and rushed over to them. Sasuke and Kage jogged forward a few steps and reached out to take the baton. At the same time Naruto gritted his teeth, his forehead covered with sweat. "Please, Sasuke, hurry up." Just then, Naruto's stomach growled. Naruto was shocked. Damn it. Sasuke is so slow. Seeing Sasuke, who was running in the front, getting closer and closer, Naruto also jogged forward 2 steps and reached out to catch the baton handed to him by Sasuke. The first time the baton was passed to him, Naruto didn't catch it. The second time the baton was passed, Naruto caught it, but with his butt as the baton in Sasuke's hand accurately hit Naruto's vitals. Everyone around was shocked. Naruto fell to the ground with a thump. Ninja World, ha ha ha. My stomach hurts from laughing so hard. The Millennium Killer, is it? Sasuke didn't mean it, right? It's over. I'm going to leak it. Why does the sound of pulling it out sound so much like the sound of me opening a bottle of wine? It's already amazing that you can hold it in until now. I approve of you for holding your poop in. No matter how much you masturbate, it's better. I guess future Naruto died of illness because he developed a hidden disease from holding his poop. Somewhere in the ninja world Bizetsu's face turned pale. Suddenly I'm not curious about things like poop anymore. Me too. It looks so painful. Fire Nation Muai Village. Naruto's house. Naruto's face turned red in an instant. Sasuke, this guy. Pure Land. Minato's mouth twitched on screen. Sasuke looked down at him and said, "You're the last one, run." Naruto held his buttocks and burst into tears. "You want to kill me, Sasuke?" Naruto pulled the baton out from behind and struggled to stand up. "I have reached my limit. If this continues, things will be really bad." Naruto looked forward with determined eyes. "In that case, let's rush straight to the finish line, then head straight to the toilet." A swish sound. Naruto left a trail of smoke behind him. Ino, who was standing at the side of the runway, exclaimed, "So fast." Sakura shouted excitedly, "Go." Naruto, in the field. Naruto simply overtook his friends in front of him. The speed was so fast that even Sasuke couldn't help but look sideways. What is that guy doing? Soon, Naruto reached the finish line, leaving a trail of dust behind. Great. Let's just run straight over there. As a result, he had just rushed out a few steps when his footsteps suddenly stopped. Naruto turned around. Little by little it was Shikamaru who was making hand seals with his hands. He really wanted to escape, but he couldn't at this moment. He had been pinned down by Shikamaru's shadow binding technique and could not escape even if he had wings. Ninja World good strategist. Shikamaru is indeed Naruto's good strategist. Ruined. It makes me anxious. Let's just let Naruto go to the bathroom. Can Naruto still hold on? It's time to witness a wonderful moment. Fire Nation Muai Village Naruto's house. Naruto's heart suddenly sank and his voice trembled. No, it can't be right. Uchiha clan land inside the mansion. Uchiha Hikaru held his chin with one hand. Wonderful on-screen. Shikamaru, who was followed by a group of friends, asked Naruto, "Where are you going? Even though it's troublesome, I still have to attend the award ceremony." After saying that, Shikamaru walked towards Naruto. Naruto, who was controlled by the shadow, also walked towards Shikamaru, and his friend Sakura excitedly ran over to Naruto. "Well done, Naruto, paid vacation is here." Hinata also clenched her fists and looked at Naruto with admiration. "Congratulations, Naruto." The sweat on Naruto's face became more intense. He suddenly raised his head with a calm expression, but there was a trace of sadness in his eyes that he could not hide. "I can no longer do this." From the moment he was pinned by Shikamaru, he knew that struggling was useless, so I chose to let nature take its course. Naruto had a smile on his face that his friends couldn't understand at this moment. He seemed to be bathing in a sea of flowers. One can clearly see an emotion in his expression. Happy. Naruto opened his hands and enjoyed the happy feeling at a moment, but the friends around him suffered. "Stop it, Naruto, it stinks. Someone come and clean it up. It's really strong." "Naruto?" Naruto narrowed his eyes with a smile. "How happy I am. Ninja World, I've been waiting for you for so long, and you finally come out. How bad is it? Let me smell it." He really did poop it out in public? But there's nothing we can do about it. I can vouch for Naruto that he really did his best. Will it slip out of my pants? And then a pile of Shauko will fall onto the runway. "Naruto, the fact that you pooped your pants is going to be kept a secret by all of us." Somewhere in the ninja world, Boruto couldn't help but sigh. "What a delicious victory, Oda-san." Future Sasuke, Pure Land Kushina put on the mask of pain. "Although you tried your best, but, Naruto, you've become a shit-smelling brat." Fire Nation Muai Village Naruto's house. Naruto looked horrified and his scalp tingled. "And, did you actually poop in your pants in front of everyone in the ninja world?" Jiraiya held up a finger and shook it. "There are also people from the Pure Land and the one on the moon." Naruto. Chapter 477. Ridiculous. On screen. Next video starts. The era of ninjas is coming to an ending. After the sound of weapons colliding, the screen lit up on the Hokage rock. Boruto and Kage slid back several meters holding their weapons. Boruto, with a cape tied behind him, a scar on his right eye, and the hilt of the Kusanagi sword in his hand, raised his head. "You are quite capable, Kage." Kage looked down at Boruto. "I'll also send you to the 7th generation." Boruto's eyes darkened. "Is this the only way?" "Yes." Kage stretched out his palm and clenched it, and the black markings on his arm turned red. The era of ninjas is coming to an end. The perspective is extended, and the Konoha village has become a ruin at this time, with thick smoke billowing everywhere. Even so, Boruto took out the scratched Konoha forehead guard from his ninja tool bag and tied it around his forehead. "I am still a ninja." After saying that, Boruto opened his right pure eye, and the black markings on his arm turned blue. The two men rushed towards each other at the same time, and the weapons in their hands collided again. Somewhere in the ninja world, Boruto scratched his scalp hard, itchy and numb. Future Sasuke closed his eyes, not wanting Boruto to see his abnormality. How could such a huge amount of information be revealed in this short video of less than 1 minute? Boruto wiped the sweat running down his temples. "Uncle Sasuke, it seems that we have gained a lot this time." Future Sasuke said nothing. "The forehead protector with scratches on it was a gift from me to Boruto." "What about the Kusanagi sword? Where's the cloak? Is he dead?" Giving everything to Boruto, Rain Country Zio Organization Pain spat out 2 words coldly: ridiculous. Zianin was also very unhappy. "Can the ninja era end just because you say so?" If Boruto said this, it would be fine. They might even think that Boruto wanted to learn from his father and bring the ninja world into a new era. This is progress, and it is moving in a better direction. But when Kage said this, they simply thought that Kage wanted to end the ninja era by himself. Zianin was indignant. "Evil Kage. How can this guy's strength rival that of Boruto, who became an Akatsuki?" Pure Land Izuna, hiss. Tobirama's pupils shrank slightly. "It seems that my previous guess was correct. Kage is the container of the unknown Akatsuki, and his situation is very similar to Boruto's." Hoshirama was heartbroken. "Can't you two stay away from the village when you fight? How many times has this happened?" Ben rubbed his temples in pain. "In these videos, he has been using his brain to analyze intelligence. It was just a break for Naruto to hold his poop. He didn't want to analyze it, and even felt that future events had nothing to do with a dead man like him. But things were too explosive in this kind of situation. Everyone wants to know the outcome. Even he is not immune. After thinking about so many things, he felt a little pain in his head." Minato closed his eyes. "You've grown up, Boruto. Kushina's nose felt sore and she felt suffocated by the pain. My clothes and pants no longer fit. Boruto, how much suffering have you endured over the years, the Kingdom of Thunder and the ninja era? What a boast, Quakes is overestimating his own abilities. If this guy appeared in front of me, I would definitely, country of Earth, no matter how powerful Quakes is, the ninja era will not be ended by him, and the ninja spirit will live forever. Water country, if while this is fate, then letting it go is also a good choice. Kingdom of Winds Naruto's story is about saving the ninja world and becoming Hokage, and Boruto's story is about fighting against fate. Fire Nation Muai Villagian Ninja had a complicated expression. Even if the village is destroyed, I guess at that time all of us will think that Boruto is the murderer of Naruto, and we will be hostile to him and support Kage. A ninja wiped his tears and said, "What a poor child." A ninja sighed. Boruto and Kage's affairs are no longer something that ordinary ninjas can interfere with. The black lines on their bodies should be the characteristics of being planted by Akatsuki. A ninja said sarcastically, "Lord Kage, you must avenge the 7th Hokage and bring Boruto to justice." Villagers around Naruto's house. Naruto's frustrated mood completely disappeared, and his eyelids drooped. Looking a little listless, Jiraiya flicked the bugger off his fingertips. "I really don't understand what you're thinking, kid. It's something that hasn't happened yet, but you always act like it's already happened. The result is not something that can't be changed. You do not understand. Then can you tell me the reason? At least let me know what you are thinking." Speaking of this, Jiraiya's expression gradually became serious. The person discussed most during the village leaders meeting was Naruto compared to Naruto. Sasuke, who is the same age as him, is less of a worry. If the higher-ups knew what was in Naruto's mind, they could try to prescribe the right remedy. Naruto was silent for a moment, then he spoke. "Because I met Boruto from a parallel universe," Jiraiya said. "I know about this. He gave me a very special feeling, which I have never felt from anyone else. He was very kind. Maybe because he is my future relative, this feeling is even stronger after seeing him in person. I know that he and that Sasuke are not from the future of our time and space, but from a parallel time and space, so I was wondering if in some other time and space, Boruto is experiencing everything that happened on the screen." Jiraiya suddenly realized, "I see. Don't mention it. This is really possible. Who knows how many parallel universes there are? There may be countless of them, but in this case, he couldn't think of any good way to relieve Naruto's depression." Ninja world. Quakes, you're so arrogant. In this new era, the hero who saved the ninja world has passed away. His son will surely continue his father's glory with new power. Boruto has grown up and should have become an Akatsuki. Kage seems to have the upper hand. Could he also become an Akatsuki? The age of ninjas should have ended long ago. Boruto inherited not only Naruto's bloodline, but also responsibility. I firmly believe that the final victory will belong to the side of justice. Even Naruto's son has become the public enemy of the ninja world. What is the need for this chaotic ninja era to exist? Naruto treats Kage like his own son, yet he treats Boruto like that. Kage is the most evil person I have ever seen in my life. Darkness always has its trigger. Kage's extreme behavior must be related to his experience. Who is the guy who adopted him? The future of the ninja world will become worse because of Kage. Chapter 478, Strength. On screen. Next video title, Power. As the video began, Naruto's excited voice was heard. "Great. I haven't received a mission in a long time. Naruto, you are so noisy." In front of Team 7, Tsunade, who was sitting on an office chair, said, "But this case is really not something that makes people happy." Naruto was stunned. Tsunade explained to the 4 members of Team 7, "A tragedy occurred in a small village in a small country bordering the Land of Fire, and the villagers there were massacred. It has been regarded as a holy place since ancient times and is called the Giant Pit. It is said that there are secret treasures hidden there, so there are special people stationed there to prevent thieves." After hearing Tsunade's words, the excitement on Naruto's face slowly disappeared, and he stood quietly beside Sakura. Sakura whispered, "But they were all killed. If possible, I would like to send more people, but the situation in the village is quite tight right now." Yamato asked, "Are you talking about the theft at the temporary cemetery outside the village a while ago?" "Yes, and the forest that sealed the Akatsuki members." Yamato asked again, "That incident of the sickle being stolen?" "Right, we have to get busy next, but we can't ignore the misfortunes of ordinary people." After that, Tsunade issued an order. "I want you to find the real culprit who attacked the village and give him the punishment he deserves, please." Yamato responded, "Yes, Ninja World. His massacre of the village? This must have been done by Kage. It's finally not something in the future. Before, I would feel relieved when I saw things in the future, but now I just feel depressed. Someone slaughtered villagers from a small country for the secret treasure. Even if the village was too busy to mobilize manpower, they still had to give an explanation to the ordinary people who died in the surrounding small countries. Other major ninja villages would do the same. Tsunade's main goal should be to send people to investigate and nip in the bud any crisis that may affect the Land of Fire. Humph. No matter how nice your words are, they are useless. During the war, countless small villages were massacred. Anyway, it's good that Konoha can take action after something like this happens. The ninja world itself is very dark. Every event that Naruto participated in can be remade into a movie, just like the previous sports meeting. I believe the story of this video will not be too bad. If there is a crew filming in the ninja world, I will definitely buy a ticket to support it. On screen turn after arriving at the destination, the 7th squad split into two groups. Sai and Yamato walked in the ruined village. Yamato murmured in a low voice, "Almost everything is burned down. What weapons did the thugs who attacked the village use?" Sai, who was walking behind, bent down and picked up a portrait that had not been completely burned. The portrait depicts a middle-aged man wearing glasses, but soon, the drawing paper began to break in the middle. After an unknown amount of time, the two walked into a wooden house. There was a huge sarcophagus inside. "Is it a treasure house? Please confirm this." The other side. Sakura placed her hand on a tree and felt it, and felt something strange. What a lush forest, but outside is a barren wilderness. The two men walked through the forest and stopped by a river. Across the river were two connected water towers. That device is used to deliver water to a certain place. Right. The two men came to the other side and walked to a well. Screen turned. Sai and Yamato entered the sarcophagus. There is still such space underground. It's so big. Amazing room. Nothing left. Was everything stolen? It seems so. After checking around and finding nothing, the two walked out of the cabin. Yamato, who was walking in front, suddenly had a knife pressed against his neck. A woman with a ponytail and dressed in black held the hilt of the knife. "Don't move. Are you trying to take advantage of the situation?" Yamato explained with a serious face. "No, we are the ninjas from Konoha village who came here on orders to investigate the incident." Hearing Yamato's words, the woman in black put away her knife, and 4 more men in black walked out from all around the black-clad woman. Cecil bowed slightly. "Excuse me, I heard about this." "You are," Cecil explained, "the guards guarding the nearby Yechen village. We are friendly villages with Tonica village." "I see," Cecil said. "Please come this way. I want to introduce someone to you." Screen turned. Several people came to the villager's tombstone. An old man in front of one of the tombstones asked, "Cesar, who are these two?" After Cecil finished explaining, the old man smiled and looked at Yamato and the other man and said, "I see. Thank you for coming here so quickly. I am Dishonest, the head of Yechen village. A few days ago, a villager who was lucky enough to escape the disaster came to ask for help, and we learned about this tragedy." Yamato asked, "Do you have any idea about the identity of the thugs?" "No. The treasure thieves who were attracted by the legend and came here to look for treasure have had countless fights with the village guards." Yamato continued to ask, "Regarding the treasure, do you know what it is?" Dishonest sighed. "I don't know. I'm afraid only a very small number of people in the village know about it." The other side. Naruto was lying on the river bank, scooping water with his hands and drinking it in big gulps. Sakura beside him analyzed. "In other words, the key lies in the attacker's identity and methods. This water tastes great." Somewhere in the ninja world, Boruto pouted, "It's something even I know. Spreading the news of the treasure without the ability to protect it is just like following your father and asking for trouble." Future Sasuke. Ninja world. I guess it's most likely done by a powerful rebel ninja. Shikamaru should be brought in for cases like this. Naruto. "Aren't you afraid that someone is peeing upstream in the river? My intuition tells me that this water is not clean." Will Naruto get an upset stomach again? On screen. Sakura looked at Naruto helplessly, then she turned her gaze to the scenery ahead. "But it's really beautiful. It seems as if this huge pit has absorbed the vitality and nutrients from the surroundings and is singing the praises of prosperity on its own." At this moment, a mysterious man wearing a hood said near the two of them, "Yes, the water here is full of life." Naruto and Sakura turned around suddenly and looked in the direction where the sound came from with a vigilant look on their faces. "When did you? Long time no see." "Both of you." Naruto was stunned. A mysterious hooded man slowly turned around. Naruto and Sakura saw the face of the person who came. Pocket. Ninja world. It's actually Kabuto. This outfit has a kind of hidden temperament. So, This is the point in time after Kabuto was injected with Orochimaru's cells and before he became a sage. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to appear in front of Naruto, because he would be beaten to death. Even Kabuto with only Orochimaru's cells fused to him would be difficult to deal with. Naruto and Sakura probably can't stop him now, and they might even suffer a lot. He even got a perm before going to learn fairy arts. Did he want to leave a good impression on Raichudo? Kabuto is really considerate. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479, Impure World Reincarnation Experiment. On screen Naruto formed the seal. Two shadow clones appeared behind him and helped him to make the Rasengan. The corner of Dao's mouth curled up in disdain. Naruto's true form roared and rushed towards Kabuto even though they were far away. The huge noise caused by the Rasengan alarmed Yamato and others near the cemetery. Dao, who had been kneeling on one knee on the river surface, stood up. You are still the same as always, you just do it without saying anything. Sakura, who was on guard, frowned and asked, what are you doing here? Dao said slowly, some personal matters, this time. I am doing a small research. Then he stretched out a hand. A water ball containing countless small snakes floated to the surface of the river. Ninja World SHH hiss, so many snakes, my scalp is tingling. Thanks to the future, I now think snakes are pretty. Could it be that Dao was responsible for the massacre of the village? The water Naruto just drank. On screen, what is that thing? Kabuto explained, I made these snakes using Orochimaru-sama's cells. They have strong regenerative abilities and can reproduce in large numbers in a short period of time. At this point, an evil smile appeared on Kabuto's face and, thanks to my perfect experimental results, I can transplant the cell nuclei of other organisms and reproduce genetic information. Coincidentally, the water here seems to have a great effect on promoting cell division, and its speed is comparable to that of viruses. As soon as he finished speaking, the water ball turned into a human figure. Kabuto took out a kunai tied with talisman paper and inserted it into the temple of the human-shaped water ball. So, a brand new life is about to be born. After saying that, the humanoid water ball transformed into the appearance of Hidden. Sakura's pupils contracted. Could it be Akatsuki's? Yes, Hidden. Hidden opened his eyes. Yamato's voice came from the tree not far behind him. It seems that your presence here is not accidental. It was you who attacked the village, right? Tell us everything you need to tell. He turned his head and looked at Sai, who was walking over. You guys want to catch me? You can't escape. It's hard to say. I have more than one chess piece. Sai pulled out a section of the short sword behind him. Kabuto clasped his hands together. The ground not far away broke open, and a coffin rose from the ground with a slap. The coffin lids all fell forward, revealing what was inside. Naruto was shocked. Nagato, the people in Class 7 were immediately stunned by the scene before them. Itachi, this is a member of Akatsuki, Asuma-sensei, Hayate-sensei, could this be Impure World Reincarnation, asshole? Naruto's eyes instantly turned into vertical pupils. Ninja World Naruto and the others are in danger. This configuration. Fortunately, I know that Team 7 will not die here, otherwise I would definitely be worried. Nagato and Itachi have both been unleashed. How can Team 7 still defeat them? Kabuto is no longer the same as before. He is no longer a minor supporting character in the ninja world. It's hard to tell that Naruto is stronger than he was when he was a teenager after becoming Hokage. Any two people from Akatsuki can beat Uchiha who can hurt future Naruto and Sasuke, right? Among the available combat forces of Team 7, I always unconsciously ignore everyone except Naruto, including the leader of the Jonin. On screen, Sakura suddenly realized it turns out that the tomb robber is you. Just as the two sides were confronting each other, the security team and Yechung village chief Tasanis and others arrived one after another. That is, Kabuto pulled out a scroll and pointed it at Hidden Feet and reached out and pressed the scroll, and with a bang, the march scythe appeared in his hand. Naruto lowered his head, his entire face hidden in the shadow, and was condensing the Rasengan in his hand. It seems like it will be very interesting. Hearing what Kabuto said, Naruto shouted angrily, stop talking nonsense. Naruto rushed towards Kabuto and Hidden, and the Rasengan hit where the two were. Boom! The water splashed high. Kabuto slid several meters on the surface of the river before stopping. He used his hand to leave a dark red electric current on the river surface. Naruto's attack followed closely. The electric current left by Kabuto condensed into a black snake and bit Naruto. Naruto's real body was hit by the black snake and dragged into the water, and his two shadow clones disappeared. Sakura shouted worriedly, "Naruto, in the sky!" Hiden raised the March side and slashed at Sakura. Sakura quickly raised her arms to block at the critical moment. Yamato used wood release to knock Hiden away. Kabuto held up two fingers. Several dead people who were resurrected by the impure world reincarnation in the coffins opened their eyes and rushed towards Team 7 and the guards who had arrived. Kabuto frowned as he saw the dead, including Nagato and Itachi, still standing in their coffins. Why not move? The coffin closed again. Isn't the preparation for the technique sufficient? Ninja World, maybe you're not yet at that stage yet. In other words, you still need to practice. Although Yamato's wood release isn't very strong, it looks quite useful. Although I knew Team 7 would be fine, I was still relieved to see that Nagato and Itachi hadn't moved. Fortunately, Kabuto hasn't cooperated with Obito yet, otherwise we wouldn't have any fun when Obito arrives. Kabuto should just be testing the impure world reincarnation. On screen, Sony suddenly jumped out from the site and attacked Kabuto. Kabuto quickly jumped away to avoid the attack, but Sai, holding a short sword, chased him closely. Deidara, who is not far away, used explosive clay to help Kabuto escape. Not far away, Sakura loudly warned Yamato, who was fighting with Hiden. "Captain, don't let that guy touch your blood." "I know." Kabuto and Deidara seemed to sense something and looked down. The next moment, an inky dragon rushed out of the river and bit Kabuto and Deidara. Deidara opened his hands as he flew backwards, and the detonating clay flew into the dragon's mouth. Boom! The other side, Sakura dodged Gekao Gale's slash and clenched her fist to gather strength. "Teacher, I'm sorry." After saying that, Sakura punched Gekao Hayate in the face with a bang. Moonlight Gale's body smashed into the tree, leaving a big hole in the tree. After a moment, Sakura was stunned as she watched Gekao Hayate's brain gradually recover. Not far away, the body of the ninja who was hit by Cecil's knife was also recovering underwater. Naruto pursed his lips tightly, his body still falling rapidly downwards. "Damn it. I can't hold my anger anymore." At this time the scene on the screen changed. Evening. In a residential, the little brown-haired girl sat at the desk, humming a rhythmic tune. An old man with white hair and a big beard walked up to her. "Mina really likes this melody. Did she compose it herself?" The little girl Mina replied. "I heard it." "Hear it?" Mina pointed out the window with her index finger. Another little boy in the room came over and said to her, "You are not normal." As he said this, he quickly took the painting that Mina had placed on the table. The little boy looked at the person in the painting and said in surprise, "Is this the teacher? It doesn't look like him at all." Ninja World, how come it's nighttime all of a sudden? Naruto is still in the river. I wonder how their battle is going. When the scene changes, I suddenly can't understand it. I hate brain-burning things. The person in this painting looks familiar. The painting Sai picked up on the street earlier was drawn by this little girl, right? Chapter 480, Teacher's Action. On screen, Mina ran to the little boy anxiously. "It's not finished yet. Give it back to me." The little boy smiled mischievously and held the painting high. "Come on, come on, come on, grab it, come on, brother. Give it back to me." Seeing this scene, the old man said, "Leo." Leo was stunned when his name was called, and Mina took this opportunity to snatch the painting back. The old man asked, "It's Teacher Doc. Is he okay?" Mina nodded obediently. "Yes." Leo gestured exaggeratedly with his hands. "My belly is so big," the old man asked again, "getting fat again, but it looks like a bear." So cute. Hearing Mina's words, Leo said and looked at her. "Mina, soft." Leo retorted, "It should be the fat guy, right? Ninja World is a fat person. I used to hate being called that, but now I find being called fat is not bad. It's better than being described as a soft and cute bear." Teacher Doc, in this painting doesn't seem simple. The screen shouldn't show images of irrelevant people for no reason, so the village massacre was most likely done by this old man and his two kids. On screen, after saying that, Leo and Mina laughed. The old man looked at this scene. His eyes narrowed with smile. "Do you like him?" Leo nodded and said him. Mina said obediently, "I like it." "Is that so? He's more suitable to be a teacher than a garrison." Screen turn. Late night. Mina is sleeping. Suddenly a loud noise outside woke her up. Leo, who was sleeping in her shop, jumped out of bed, ran to the window and opened the curtains. There was a raging fire in a house not far from the window. The two children quickly ran out of the house to check what was going on. As a result, as soon as I went out, I saw ninjas slaughtering villagers in front of the street. Mina buried her face in Leo's back in fear. Two young villagers passing by shouted to the two children, "Go home and hide." Hearing his words, Leo grabbed Mina's hand and ran back to the house. Mina's tone was filled with tears. "Where's Grandpa?" On the chaotic streets, the ninjas were slaughtering the fleeing villagers. The white-haired old man drew his knife and rushed towards the enemies who attacked the village. One of the ninjas spewed flames from his mouth, and screams were heard all around, and everyone in the ninja world finally got a clear view of one of the ninjas who attacked the village, as well as the ninja vest on his body and the forward protector on his head. Country of Earth. Iwagakure Inoki couldn't help but shudder. Deidara was shocked. Iwagakure ninja. Unoki's eyes twitched involuntarily and his face turned pale. Oops, there's no way a ninja in the village would do such a thing. The Kingdom of Thunder Unite Village. The fourth Raikage made a tisk sound. His expression contained a hint of gloating. Ninja world. This is not the first time the real culprit of the village massacre has appeared. It's Iwagakure, compared to Iwagakure and Konoha. There's a world of difference. Is this village located between the land of fire and the land of earth, during the war? That shouldn't be the case. On screen, the young and strong men in the village were fighting with the ninjas, but they were killed by the ninjas before they could even take two moves. As the battle on the field became more intense, the vests and forward protectors of the attacking ninjas became clearer and clearer. In particular, after a Konoha ninja's arm was cut, his arm began to repair after a while. Ninja world. No. It's not just the ninjas from the Hidden Rock village. The wound has healed. This is reincarnation in the dirt. The Kingdom of Thunder Unite Village. The fourth generation AI looked disappointed. It's Kabuto Yakushi, country of Earth. Iwagakure Inoki breathed a sigh of relief. Yakushi Kabuto should be after the secret treasure, as long as the murderer is not Iwagakure, even if it wasn't in pure world reincarnation, as long as the ninjas from the 5 major ninja villages were there. He could accept this result. On screen, muttered Deidara, riding on the clay bird, opened his palms. Countless clay spiders floated down. Boom boom boom. The raging fire immediately spread to the entire village. In the room, Leo and Mina lay under the bed. Thick smoke suddenly seeped out from under the floor. The two children didn't even bother to hide and quickly ran to the stairs. It was discovered that the entire first floor had been engulfed in flames, and the exit was naturally blocked by flames. The two children ran to the window again, opened it and looked downstairs. The height frightened the two children. The floor behind him collapsed and the fire spread. The heat wave was overwhelming, and Mina was frightened by the scene and cried. Hiding in Leo's arms, Leo looked at the flames getting closer and closer, then glanced downstairs, hugged Mina and started crying. No. I don't want to die. Help. Someone save me. Ninja world. I see. This is probably the story of the village being massacred. What kind of secret treasure could make Dato such a cruel thing? Two young children like this, they wouldn't die just like that, would they? There's a chance they could survive if they jumped, but children's bones are softer and they're sure to get broken. I guess Leo overcame his fear in the end and jumped with Mina in his arms. If this were a story, they would definitely be rescued, but this is reality. Under normal circumstances, the young children here have little chance of survival. On screen in the street, a middle-aged man wearing glasses heard a voice that sounded very familiar to him. The middle-aged man ran downstairs and shouted upstairs, Leo, Leo. Leo heard the shouting and popped his head out of the window. Teacher Doc. Mina popped her head out from beside him and cried out in tears, Teacher. Doc looked at the two children still upstairs and a drop of sweat slid down his face. Leo, Mina. He looked around. All I saw was a blazing fire, and I couldn't find a way to get upstairs. He could only walk downstairs and open his arms. Jump down. I'll catch you. Mina stretched her head out and looked down timidly. Come on. Jump. With a whoosh, the flame became more vigorous. Mina cried and shouted, No. Doc urged. Mina. Hurry up. I am afraid. Ninja world, it's normal to be afraid. Not to mention a 2 or 3-year-old child. Even an adult like me wouldn't dare to do that. I'm even more afraid that the other person won't be able to catch it. Don't worry, just jump. The cute and soft teacher Shang will definitely not make any mistakes. This is what I'm most afraid of. If we delay any longer, your teacher will turn into a soft and sticky roasted bear. On screen, basking in the flames around him, Doc was already sweating profusely. He tried to slow down his voice. Mina, do you hate me? Mina shook her head. Don't you believe me? Mina shook her head again. Doc said loudly, Then show your courage. This time, Mina did not hesitate. With Leo's help, Mina climbed up to the window and then jumped. Doc caught her, ran back 2 steps, and put her down a little further away from the fire. Doc touched Mina's head and praised, Well done, it's amazing. Mina smiled sweetly. Doc turned around and opened his arms again. Come on, Leo. Chapter 481 Mood. Screen turn. Doc ran down the street carrying his 2 children. I do not know how long it has been. Doc finally ran out of the village. He put the 2 children down, held onto a tree and gasped violently. He turned to look at the two children, noticing that both children were only in pajamas, staring blankly at the village in the distance. He took off his coat and covered Mina with it. Ninja world, that white-haired old man should be the grandfather of these two children, right? Although there is no scene of him being killed, in this situation, he probably won't survive. They saw their own people being massacred, their village destroyed, and their homes gone. If those two siblings were replaced with young Sasuke and Sarada, the Uchiha clan would have an extra pair of single Magatama and double Magatama Sharingan. Mr. Soft and Nutty Bear is a good person and will take good care of the two children. On screen, Doc looked at the village in the distance, his pupils trembling. He stood up and walked towards the village. When passing by Mina, she hugged his legs. Doc turned and looked down. Mina looked at him pitifully. Don't go. Doc looked at her for a moment, then turned his gaze toward the village. There may be many people in the village who can be saved. Mina, don't you want to see Xiaoi and Xiaosha? Hearing his words, Mina gradually loosened her grip. Doc walked forward a few steps, then suddenly ran back, held the two children's shoulders, and said, "Listen carefully, if I don't come back, you will go to Yichen village, do you understand?" Seeing the two children nod, he continued, "When we get to the village, go to the town hall to call for help. Can you do it?" The two children nodded again. And, his eyes were filled with tears, and he hugged the two children in his arms. "Come on." After saying that, he turned and left without any hesitation. Mina tried to hug his legs but missed. The coat covering her fell to the ground, and two silver iron pipes, one long and one short, fell out of it. Ninja world. Kabuto, you are committing a sin. Even if Naruto was involved in this, Kabuto, who used the impure world reincarnation to massacre the village, was not punished in the end. Teacher Doc is a respectable man. It can be seen that Xiaoxin didn't want to die, but he still went back to save people without hesitation. On screen, two tears welled up in Mina's eyes. Leo closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he saw two iron pipes lying on the ground. He picked up the iron pipe and tapped it gently, and the iron pipe made a crisp sound. The two children's attention was quickly diverted and they looked at each other strangely. The next day it's just one. Leo hugged his knees and opened his eyes. Next to him was Mina, who was lying on the ground and sleeping soundly. Screen turn. Leo took Mina's hand and walked into the village with a wary look on his face. When he walked to a certain place, Leo was startled by a burnt hand not far in front of him. He quickly covered Mina's eyes and pulled her aside. The two children walked up the wooden stairs on the cliff to the top of the cliff. After taking a look at the destroyed village below, he continued on his way. After taking only 2 steps, Mina squatted down. Leo tried to pull her, but failed. Leo seemed to guess that she wanted to wait for Teacher Doc to come back, so he squatted down beside her. Before I knew it, the day passed like this sunset. Mina seemed to realize something and turned her head to look somewhere. There were 4 figures walking towards them. Mina stood up with a hopeful look on her face. After seeing the figure clearly, her pupils gradually dilated and she regained her spirit. Seeing the fat man in the middle limping towards them, Mina also hurried over. Ninja world, it's good that Teacher Xiaoxin is still alive. I can't imagine how desperate Mina would be if he didn't come back. The sense of substitution in this part is too strong. It's as if I was the one being massacred. I wonder how many injuries Doc suffered in trying to save people. Looking forward to the day they meet Naruto. Fire Nation Muai Village. Naruto's house. Naruto's eyes welled up when he saw Mina and Doc running towards each other. When Naruto saw Doc fall on the screen, his tears completely burst out. It was as if he could sense Mina and Doc's mood. Doc's feelings when he left Leo and Mina behind to save others. Mina and Leo's mood as they waited for Doc. The feeling when you see that the other person is still alive on screen. Doc also brought back 3 children, 2 men and 1 woman. The 2 boys are 1 fat and 1 thin. The 3 children watched as Mina hugged Doc and cried. Screen turn. Naruto used multiple shadow clones underwater. The shadow clone in front swam hard, and Naruto's real body at the back grabbed the shadow clone's feet. Soon, Naruto couldn't hold his breath anymore and opened his mouth. Several small snakes also flowed into Naruto's mouth along with the seawater. Fortunately, just when Naruto was about to collapse, he finally swam out of the water. When Kabuto saw Naruto gasping heavily after climbing ashore, a smile appeared on his face. It seems that we have reached the limit. After saying this, he made the way. Seal. A coffin emerged from the ground behind the impure world ninja in the field, put the impure world ninja into the coffin and then slowly disappeared. There were 2 giant pythons coiled behind Dao, and one of them had a person in its mouth. After seeing the arm with patterns sticking out of the python's mouth, Cecil's pupils shrank. That person is the village guard. The next moment, Deidara jumped to Kabuto's side. Several people suddenly became alert. See you later. As Kabuto finished his words, Deidara opened his arms and countless clay spiders floated forward, Boom boom boom. The smoke from the explosion caused several people to cough continuously. When the smoke cleared, Kabuto and Deidara were nowhere to be seen. He escaped Ninja World. If Naruto hadn't been there, and if Kabuto hadn't left, you might have been the ones to escape in the end. I don't understand what Kabuto is doing. Is he here to fight Team 7? Or is he trying another impure world reincarnation experiment? Deidara's abilities are really useful. It's a pity that he died young as a rebel nin, otherwise he might have become Itachi. On screen turn MR. Yamato, who are they? Let me explain. Yamato murmured. It seems that we have no choice but to call for reinforcements. Yi-chan-kun. Riverside. The sound of children playing could be heard. Hooked. One of the children pulled the fishing rod and a fish was pulled up. I caught it. On the street people come and go, and street vendors can be seen everywhere. A fruit vendor put 2 tomatoes into the bamboo basket in Doc's hand. Here, it's free. The little girl next to Doc looked up at the stall owner. Thank you, uncle. The stall owner asked, are you guys from Tanaka village? Doc was stunned. The stall owner pointed to the back of his hand. The mark on your hand is a guard, right? Doc, who still had a bandage on his head, smiled and said helplessly, yeah, it's a pity that I'm unemployed. You seem to be seriously injured. What happened? Doc scratched the back of his head and responded, nothing, just a little accident. Chapter 482. Fatal Weakness. Doc and the little girl walked on the busy street. It's cheap, just caught. Take a look. Take a look. At this time, teacher, when Leo ran towards him with a small wooden barrel in his arms, he almost knocked down a passerby. Sorry, caught a lot. Leo held the barrel in front of Doc. Doc looked and saw that there were indeed a lot of fish in it. Leo bared his teeth and took credit. It's all thanks to my good fishing rod. The tall and thin friend behind him carrying a fishing rod said, I am the one who picks the bait. Leo heard someone taking credit for his work and looked back. Before changing the bait, your catch was duck eggs, the panting little fat man Foz said helplessly. Fish, I don't like eating fish. Foz, stop being picky, Foz retorted, it's hard to eat, and the smell is unbearable. Ninja World. It looks like Leo and Mina are doing well here. What a coincidence. I don't like fish either. I see. It seems I can't date someone who doesn't like fish. Fish has a high nutritional value and can help you lose weight. Fish soup with rice is okay, but I will never eat fish again in my life. I caught a fish without intramuscular spines last night. I don't know what species it is, so I named it a throat-free fish. On screen Leo gritted his teeth. Foz lowered his head and pointed with 2 fingers. If it were my mother, I would definitely do something else. Leo yelled, your mother is gone. The people around were stunned, looked back at them for a moment, and then continued on their way. Foz's body trembled slightly and he soon began sobbing. At this time, a melodious voice came into the ears of several people. They turned around and saw Mina playing the xylophone in front of a street stall. Doc walked up behind her and asked, this is the song you often hum in school, right? Leo raised his hand. She said she heard it. You heard it? Can you still hear it now? Hearing Doc's words, Mina shook her head and continued knocking the other side. Not far outside Yecheng village, Yamato waved to Naruto, Sakura and Cecil on the opposite side, and the 2 groups walked in 2 directions. Ninja World. Naruto has finally arrived at Yecheng village. Why did Team 7 split up? Mina, I see that you have a unique figure. Do you want to learn a song to commemorate the past when tears never dried? On screen Sakura, who was walking behind Cecil, asked, are the survivors in the village acquaintances of Miss Cecil? Well, that person and I were childhood sweethearts. We lived together when we were young, and I called him brother. At this point, Cecil narrowed his eyes and smiled. It's the same now. Naruto, who was walking at the back, looked like he wanted to vomit but couldn't. I haven't seen him for a long time. I didn't expect him to be so fat. But I feel relieved to see that he is still the same as before. Besides, he saved 5 children. Sakura smiled and praised, very impressive. At this time, Naruto puffed up his cheeks and vomited again. Sakura tilted her head and asked, what happened to you? Naruto was swaying, looking very uncomfortable, and said, I always feel uncomfortable with my bloated stomach. After saying that, Naruto simply sat down on the ground and retched, country of earth Iwagakure humph. This must be Kabuto Yakashi's conspiracy. His goal is to make Naruto swallow those little snakes and then control Naruto. I always feel that there's something special about the relationship between Cecil and Doc. I have a feeling that their brother-sister relationship will eventually deteriorate. The ninja next to him, just like me, okay? The ninja who had spoken earlier suddenly turned his head and looked at him. The ninja next to him said with an embarrassed look, it's just a joke, don't take it seriously, please tell me more jokes like this. I love hearing them. The ninja who suspected Kabuto Yakashi Brother, I really want to know your unknown past. Please, even if you have to make it up, I'll tell you. On screen several people walked to Doc's door. Cecil said, wait here for a moment, I'll go see if he's there. After a while 6 figures, 1 big and 5 small, walked towards one side of the street. They stopped in their tracks when they saw Naruto and Sakura waiting outside. Naruto seemed to realize something and turned to look. When Doc saw the forehead protector on his forehead, his pupils shrank. He quickly pulled Mina behind him and whispered to the children, run. Sakura looked weird. What's wrong? Second floor balcony. Cecil opened the window and saw the familiar figure, elder brother. On the street Doc limped away with his 5 children. Country of Earth Iwagakure. Wouldn't it be too immoral to laugh at this time? The Kingdom of Thunder Unite Village PFFT. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. This farce was so funny. Especially the way Doc limped away. Water Country Karigakure. Run. Run faster. Naruto is here to wipe out the roots. On screen Leo asked as he ran, Teacher, why are you running away? A drop of cold sweat rolled down Doc's face. Look at the mark on the ninja's forehead protector. They are the ones who attacked the village. Naruto and Sakura on the roof jumped in front of the 6 people and blocked their way without a second thought. Doc put the child behind him. Naruto put his hands on his hips. Wait. Sakura slowed down her tone and explained, please wait a moment, we are not suspicious persons. Leo gritted his teeth, mustered up the courage and rushed towards Naruto. He ran up to Naruto and kicked him hard in the crotch. Somewhere in the ninja world Boruto leaned his upper body back violently. Sigh, my dad has to take the blame for Dindao. He is so unlucky. Ninja world, it hurts just looking at it. Fortunately I know Naruto is okay. This kid actually discovered Naruto's fatal weakness right away. Incredible, although. Leo is indeed very brave. If he is really an enemy, I will definitely kill him first, because Naruto looks too friendly. If it was Kabuto, let alone courage, this kid would be weak even if he took 2 steps forward. On screen Naruto was in so much pain that he burst into tears. Naruto's face was covered with blue air, and he briefly became a Wu-Tang master with his legs turned inwards. Leo ran away first. The rest, 1 big and 4 small, followed closely behind and continued to escape. After an unknown amount of time, the 6 people ran to a single plank bridge blocked by a sign. There were 2 eye-catching red words written on it, danger. There's a line of small words below, it is old and in disrepair. Please do not cross the bridge. Seeing this, Leo frowned and rushed over first. Doc hurriedly shouted from behind, Leo, no. It's dangerous. Leo walked to the bridge and then looked at Doc. But I have to escape. After saying that, he ran across the bridge. When he ran to the other side of the bridge, Leo turned around and waved to the other side. Come here, teacher. Ninja world, don't worry about crossing the bridge. The ground will catch you firmly. The kid went over and was fine. But if it was Doc or even Fuzzy, there's a good chance they would have fallen. The bridge is in such a state of disrepair. Are they going to run over it together? I have a feeling that someone will fall down, and it will be Naruto or Sakura who saves them in the end. Chapter 483 Spear of Heaven. On screen without much hesitation, Doc made up his mind. Mina, let's go. He bent down and picked up Mina. After seeing Mina nod, he rushed across the bridge. Only 3 children were left standing when he ran to the middle. The wooden board under his feet broke. Fortunately, Doc reacted quickly and grabbed the board so that he did not fall down. The 3 children on the spot were suddenly startled. Teacher, what to do? Crack. The board cracked under Doc's weight. Mina closed her eyes in fear behind the 3 children. Naruto responded on the bridge. A drop of cold sweat slid down Doc's face. He looked at Mina, who was in his arms, his eyes full of guilt. Sorry. Seeing Mina shaking her head, Doc's eyes showed even more guilt. With a crack, the wooden board shattered. Leo's eyes suddenly widened. Just then, a figure floated over the 3 children. Naruto formed the seal. Doc's ankle was firmly grasped by a hand as he fell rapidly downward. Cecil arrived in a hurry. What happened? Elder brother screamed. He was too arbitrary. I'm sorry. The children also did this for me. In front of Naruto and Sakura, all 5 children bent down. Sorry. Ninja world, will an apology do anything? Boruto almost couldn't be born. I've been looking forward to their meeting, but when they met, he kicked me in the face and killed me, just as I expected. Someone fell down, and it was Naruto who saved them in the end. From what I know about Naruto, he will definitely not blame Doc and Leo. On screen Naruto said nothing, but a sunny smile appeared on his face. Caesar needs no introduction. My name is Doc, and I am a teacher to the children in the village. Doc put his palm on Leo's head. This is Leo. Hello. Naruto smiled and said, you are very brave. Leo smiled happily when he heard Naruto's compliment. Okay then, Doc introduced them one by one. Rand, Fuzz, this girl is Sora. The three children greeted very politely. Hello hello. Also, this is Leo's sister Mina. Naruto walked up to Mina and bent over her. Is this vest a bit too big? Doc explained. Oh, this vest was originally mine, but she liked it and didn't want to take it off, so I let her wear it. Naruto suddenly realized he held out his hand to Mina. Please take care of me. Mina also stretched out her hand towards him, but just as it was about to touch Naruto's palm, in her eyes, a small black snake suddenly jumped out of Naruto's sleeve, scaring her so much that she quickly retracted her hand and buried her face in Doc's belly. Doc looked at Naruto with an apologetic look on his face. Sorry, what's wrong, Mina? Mina said nothing, but held Doc's clothes tighter. Ninja world, there's something wrong with those snakes. Mina is not simple. She can see things that no one else can see. Oh no, something's going to happen to Naruto. Since the massacre, only the youngest, Mina, has become increasingly silent. How adorable. She wasn't even afraid of death when she was about to fall off the bridge just now, but now she's scared like this by a snake. On screen turn. In an office in a building, Yamato crossed his arms and lowered his head and thought, a secret treasure? Why would Kabuto want something like that? I really can't figure it out. Sani beside him said. Speaking of which, what on earth is there? The village chief, Dishonest, who had his back to the two of them, spoke. I used to be a scholar, studying archaeology. Many investigations have been conducted on the giant pit. As he spoke, he opened the drawer, took out a book, put it on the desk, and began to tell what he knew. This is the result of a study of an ancient book that records the legend of the giant pit. The content is believed to be a historical event. The spear of heaven created by the ancient god was deprived of its power by the filthy man. The filthy man hates everything and attempts to use that power to destroy the world. That power enveloped the entire world, pushing it to the brink of destruction. A dead person accidentally picked up a fragment of power. The dead person transformed into a person with red flames and took revenge on the filthy people. After a bitter battle in the seventh purgatory, the man with the flame finally won. In order to protect the power from being taken away by other filthy people, the man of flame broke it down into 7 notes and sealed the song. That's a brief overview. Pure land of power that envelops the world. Ben was disdainful. It just sounds boring. Izuna rubbed his chin. The first person he thought of was Mina. It seems that this little girl is indeed not simple. If I gain this power, can I surpass my elder brother and Senju Hashirama? Ninja world, a power that can cover the world? How powerful would that be? Was Kabuto's goal to gain this power? It seems he failed in the end. I don't understand. If Kabuto is after the secret treasure, why does he have to massacre the villagers? Could it be that Mina inherited this power? It sounds intimidating, but it's definitely not as strong as the Akatsuki. On-screen singing voice. Is this what Tao stole? Dishonest nodded. If it really exists, what exactly is the spear of heaven? Dishonest said. To me, this thing is beyond the scope of human cognition. It does seem that there is some important secret hidden in that huge pit. Having said that, even if the thug's goal was just to get the treasure, they should never massacre innocent villagers. I will never forgive such a thing. Hearing Dishonest's angry tone, Yamato also said, I feel the same way. Kabuto will atone for his actions, Dishonest said solemnly. I'm counting on you all. Sani and Yamato nodded. Doc's homie, a group of people are having dinner in a lively atmosphere. It was obvious that Naruto got along very well with them. Screen turn. Naruto's consciousness came to the sealed space in the water below his feet. Several small black snakes were swimming around Naruto. Sakura's voice woke Naruto up. Naruto opened his eyes. Everyone said they wanted to go to Badian bathhouse together. When Naruto heard Sakura's words, he instantly turned into a pervert. Mixed bathing with Sakura. Boom. How can it be? Screen turn. In the bathtub, the three little guys looked at Naruto, who was wearing nothing, with a dazed look on their faces. Wow. Awesome. As expected of a legendary hero, Ninja World Massacre. Is it what I thought? You can actually make people exclaim? As expected of you, you are so good. Curiosity is not satisfied. Disappointment. Teacher Xiangxing is so shocked that he can't close his mouth. I didn't expect Naruto to have the habit of, a baba, in front of children. Chapter 484 Memories of Two People. Fire Nation Muai Village. Naruto's house. Jiraiya looked at Naruto with a lewd expression. You actually showed off to a kid. Your future self is depraved? How can you masturbate more? Naruto was furious. What I was showing off was treading water. You lecherous sage with a dirty mind. Jiraiya looked at Naruto in confusion. I was talking about treading water. What were you thinking about just now, Naruto? Jiraiya winked and said, as expected of a legendary hero Naruto, Dark Yamato breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, we are not on the same side as them, otherwise, wouldn't the entire ninja world see it? On screen with a splash, Naruto fell into the pool. After a moment, he emerged from the water. If you practice hard, you might be able to do it, the three children exclaimed. Really? Screen turned. The three children closed their eyes and made the way seal with their hands. Leo looked constipated and stepped into the water. The remaining two children followed closely behind. As expected, they all fell into the pool. Damn it. Come again. After watching for a while, Doc turned to Naruto and said, even a small town like this knows your name, Naruto. I thought you were a very serious and scary person. I didn't expect you to be so young and easygoing. I'm really surprised. Ninja world, it's hard not to agree. I like Naruto the most. No matter what he achieves, he never puts on airs. I suddenly thought of Hashirama. His smile is also very warm. This may be the characteristic of Ashura's reincarnation. Here we go. Naruto is misleading people again. Maybe these three kids will finally learn it. On screen, Naruto laughed twice when he heard what Doc said. Doc praised, "You are amazing. You have a huge power hidden in your body." Naruto felt embarrassed by the compliment, scratched the back of his head and said with a smile, "No." Doc looked at the water in the pool, a little absent-minded. "Look at me again. When I was your age, I couldn't even save a little girl." The other side, Cecil stood up. Sakura behind her was stunned. "Miss Cecil, you're back." Cecil smiled and asked, "You mean the scar? I fell off a cliff a long time ago." As she spoke, she recalled with a smile, "It was probably about 50 meters high. Fortunately, I fell into a tree and survived." "How come?" Cecil lowered his eyes. "It's all my fault for being too careless." Ninja world hiss. "This scar is so white, although I can't see the front, it still feels pretty exciting." Doc and Cecil must be talking about the same thing, and judging from their looks, they seem to feel guilty towards each other. Really? I, a decent man, hate to see this kind of scene. It's all the fault of the screen. They had to show it. On screen, in Cecil's memories, the black-haired boy with glasses said to the black-haired girl in front of him who was waving a wooden stick, "Stop playing, Cecil." The girl ignored it and continued swinging the stick. When she reached the edge of the cliff, the rocks under the girl's feet suddenly shattered and she fell off the cliff in the bath. Cecil's deep voice sounded. "My brother keeps reminding me." Xiaoying, who sat next to her, asked, "Mr. Doc?" "Well, luckily he caught me in time in memory." Cliff edge. The boy held the girl's hand tightly. Cecil said softly, "He persisted like that for a whole hour. There are 3 hideous and terrifying scars on Doc's back." He was also telling Naruto about what happened back then. "Because I hate exercise and don't have much energy, I feel guilty and regretful." In memory, the girl's cheeks were covered with tears, and the sweat on the boy's face on the cliff kept dripping onto their tightly clasped hands. In the end, the boy let go because he was exhausted. The girl screamed and fell into the forest below. End of memories. If Cecil died then. Doc clenched his hands tightly. Cecil touched the scar on his abdomen. "It's all my fault. My brother did nothing wrong." The 3 children were still practicing treading water. Doc's story continued. "I hate myself for being weak, so I worked hard to become a guard, and I worked very hard." At this point, he scratched the back of his head embarrassedly. "But it seems that I am still not suitable for this." Fire Nation Muai Village. Kai was so moved that he burst into tears. Tao, Kai held back his tears for the time being. "Mr. Duokao, you are already amazing." "Kakashi, you're watching too, right? You must be impressed by Mr. Two's perseverance as well." Ninja World. Doc really did his best to be able to stick with it for an hour even though he hated exercise. Not many people have the fortitude that 2K has. "If I could hold on to someone for an hour, I could brag about it for a lifetime." The wound on Doc's back should be from rescuing those children before. Doc is a real man. On screen, Cecil's voice dropped a little. "After that, we separated. Although I would occasionally visit him, I always felt a little awkward. Before I knew it, we had drifted apart. Although this long-awaited reunion really makes me happy, but that night, if I had more power." As he spoke, tears welled up in Doc's eyes. "Brother must still be upset, right? I'm sure I can save more people. He lost so many important people." Fire Nation Muai Village. There is no shortage of kind people in this ninja world, but there are very few people as kind as Doc. Although her appearance is not that outstanding, she is very charming. It's not without reason that Minor likes Teacher Doc. Children are the most sensitive. The Xiaoyi and Xiaosha that Mr. Doc mentioned before should be children of about the same age as Leo. Since we haven't seen them yet, it means we will never see them again, unless 2 more masked guys appear in the future and say they want to join forces to reshape the ninja world. After the masks are broken, Leo and Mina will meet the people they are most familiar with, the surrounding villagers. On screen Naruto looked at the injuries on Doc's body and remained silent. Plop. Plop. Naruto turned to look. The three children failed again and fell into the water. Hateful. No, I can't do that. After returning to shore, Leo raised his arms. Brother Naruto, tell me the trick. Naruto, who was originally not in high spirits, smiled and responded, Ninja World. Naruto has never disappointed anyone when it comes to teaching. Finally you remembered to ask for the secret. You're much dumber than Konohamaru, who kept asking Naruto. We should refine the chakra first. Ping, pong, and I stepped on it. Chapter 485 Mina and number 039, S abnormality. On screen evening Sonia and Yamato arrived at Doc's door. In the room, Doc told the four people from class 7 and Cecil about what happened that night. Just as I was about to go to bed, I noticed something strange in the village. The village instantly turned into a sea of fire, and I was also attacked by ninjas. The enemy was very powerful. I thought I was dead, but he suddenly stopped moving, like a puppet with its strings cut. Yamato said, the impure world reincarnation ninjutsu is a forbidden technique that seals the soul of the dead into sacrifice and forces it to revive. We originally thought that the only two people who could use this trick were the second Kage and Orochimaru, but, at this point, Yamato rubbed his chin. It seems that even Zio can't guarantee 100% control success. This technique is not perfect. Sai, who was beside Yamato, asked, Mr. Doc, do you know the singing voice? Doc was stunned. The one in the ancient book. Yamato took a sip of water, and then said to him solemnly, it seems that this is what Kabuto is aiming for. Regarding the singing, do you have any clues that you can give us as a reference? Doc was lost in memory that night. Mina and Leo's grandfather placed 2 silver iron pipes in his hands. Take it and run away, or throw it away. But you must not tell anyone else about this. Recalling this, Doc said, no, not really. Ninja World, those 2 pipes are related to the singing. Could they be some kind of musical instrument? I remember Leo picked them up. He didn't throw them away, did he? It's understandable to conceal it. After all, there's not much trust between Doc and Konoha right now. I have a feeling that something will go wrong in the end because of Doc's concealment. On screen, really? We planned to cooperate with the town's security team tomorrow to search for that guy. But with a precedent of the captured guard, we also need to monitor your surroundings just in case. Doc bowed slightly at Yamato's words. Thank you. Yamato continued, also, regarding the children you saved, the orphanage in town is willing to take them in. What are your plans? Screen turned. Doc and Cecil opened the door and looked at the children sleeping in the room. I slept soundly. Doc uttered a soft hum. Today, the children laughed so happily. This is the first time since that night. Even as they said this, their hands were getting closer and closer. Finally, the two held their fingers tightly together. Screen turned. Muai village. In the Hokage's office, Shikamaru and Guy looked at the information in Kakashi's hand. Ninja World, sure enough, something is happening. This is really heartwarming. If it were me, I would definitely not be willing to send my child to an orphanage. Can't they afford to raise so many children? But judging from their looks, they probably won't do that, or the children will be sad. Hashiyamade. Didn't you say you treated each other as brother and sister? It seems that after talking to Naruto and Sakura, I have finally untied my heart knot. That's great. I knew they would end up together. If possible, I would like to adopt a Mina. I suddenly thought of a possibility. It's probably because the kids are too noisy. I think the reason Kakashi didn't lead Team 7 is because Naruto is too naughty and makes people worry, so he pushed it to Yamato. Emperor Kai? Is he going to take action? Pure Landban raised an eyebrow. Are you looking at the information that Yamato sent back to Konoha? Does Konoha want my guy to deal with Kabuto Yakashi? He still recognized Kai's strength after all. If I don't agree with Kai's words, isn't that just a disguised way of not agreeing with myself? In his eyes, even if someone obtained the power to cover the world, they would not be able to reach the level of himself. Hoshirama, and Guy on screen turn in a cave. Dao, who was fiddling with this spell, said, the spell you designed is too brutal. There is no need to kill them all. A line of words appeared on the scroll under his feet. Isn't it interesting? Dao, you are the only one who thinks so, right? Scroll, if it were Orochimaru, he would definitely do this. Dao snorted softly. I have mixed in my own chakra to improve the technique, so I should be able to control it perfectly next time. As he said this, he thrust the charm into Deidara's temple. It's time to try to retain consciousness and memory. Scroll, by the way, that thing is not enough. Maybe someone has it? Dao asked. So, you want me to look for it again? Scroll, this is our original agreement. You are really good at ordering people around. But that's fine, it's more fun this way. Scroll, what does it mean? The corner of Dao's mouth curled up and a name came out of his mouth. Naruto screen turn. Evening. Naruto, who was sleeping, looked like he had a nightmare, with beads of sweat on his face. Ninja World, this is the first time I've seen a scroll that can chat. Does this scroll know Orochimaru? If nothing unexpected happens, Naruto will get into an accident, but Kabuto's plan will not succeed. This is a foregone conclusion. Fire Nation Muai Village. The technique is too brutal. Are you talking about the massacre of the village? Could it be that Kabuto never thought of massacring the village, but this scroll is meant to kill everyone? But even so, the impure world reincarnation technique was performed by Kabuto. Although we were enemies before, I still admired him. After all, he was one of the most powerful civilian ninjas. Now, I think he's even more excessive than Kage. At least Kage didn't do it for himself. I don't know how many elderly people, children, and women died. No matter what the reason, Dao who did this is unforgivable. On screen held space. Naruto was lying in the water, with countless small snakes scurrying around. Soon, the little snakes covered Naruto's body, as if they were going to devour him. The nine-tailed fox inside the iron bar saw this scene and roared in Naruto's direction. At the same time, Mina, who was sleeping, suddenly opened her eyes. She sat up and took a few deep breaths, obviously frightened by something in another room. Doc heard a noise and opened his eyes, seeing the figure next to the door frame. He stood up and called softly, "Mina." With 2 crystal tears in her eyes, Mina rushed over and threw herself into Doc's arms. Cecil, who was sleeping in bed, was awakened by the noise and sat up as well, looking at Mina, who was clutching her clothes and sobbing quietly. Doc and Cecil looked at each other. Late night cemetery. As for the question just now, I'd better ask the person himself directly. Kabuto put his hands together and 2 giant pythons emerged from the ground. The giant python opened its mouth and spit out a person. Kabuto walked up to the slime-covered man and looked down at him. His genetic information is dormant here, and the sacrifice is still alive. Kabuto pulled a scroll out from his sleeve. The next moment, a white light suddenly lit up, and a miserable scream resounded throughout the night sky. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486. The Dead Quarrel. The next day, Naruto leaned against the wall listlessly. Sakura felt the warmth of his forehead with her hand. It doesn't look like a cold. Doc, who was tightly held by Mina, asked with concern, "Are you okay?" Cecil, who was wiping the table, asked, "Did you have a stomach ache after having breakfast?" Xiaoying waved her hands and said, "No, he has been acting strange since yesterday." Mina half hid behind Doc and looked at Naruto. At this time came Leo's lively voice. "Naruto brother." He ran into the house, making the seal of not yet practice. Foz also popped up beside him. Practice ninjutsu. Naturally, Rand is also part of the trio. Doc said to the 3 people, "You guys, Naruto is not feeling well, but he promised us to teach us self-defense. Konoha's heroes are just like this." Naruto, who was originally listless, said that he couldn't stand the slightest provocation. The word "well" appeared on his forehead. Screen turn. Outside, Naruto's energetic voice rang out. "Listen to me, if you want to overcome all kinds of hardships and tests, the most important thing is physical strength and athletic ability. But if you just practice without a plan, you won't be able to win in a real battle. So, after years of practice, I have developed a unique practice method." On the steps, Sakura rested her chin on one hand. So excited. "Naruto, I call it Naruto-style power and miracle training method. As long as you learn it, you can also show your skills in a critical moment." Cecil looked interested and said with a smile, "It seems very interesting." As she spoke, she took off her coat and wanted to join in. "Would you like to try it too, brother?" Doc waved his hand and had no intention of joining in the fun. "Ninja World, something interesting is about to happen. These kids are so ignorant. Don't they see how miserable Naruto is? Let these unworldly people from the outside village see your teaching ability. I went to buy some underwear last month. The shop owner praised the underwear to the skies, but it broke after just 2 days of wearing it. I feel like Naruto looks a lot like that owner now, but Naruto doesn't charge for it. Don't worry, Cecil. Naruto won't let you down. If you practice with him, your strength will definitely improve." Konohamaru is the one who has the final say on this. On screen, Sora, "It seems difficult, Foz. I hate troublesome things. Naruto heard their discussion and the word well appeared on his forehead again. Don't be lazy. No matter what you do, you need to work hard. 4 children and Cecil standing behind them. Yes, great. Let's sprint to the lake first. Ninja World. I was shocked. Is this really useful? After all, this is running. I see. Naruto actually knows his teaching level, so he is teaching them to run away. Naruto has to be serious. This time, he might even demonstrate treading water himself. On screen Hayden sat on a corpse and said, how shameful. Deidara, who was sitting on another corpse, agreed. That's right. What is a feint? Deidara turned to look at him and asked, are you so stupid that you don't even know this? Fiden said loudly in dissatisfaction, wrong. I was taken advantage of by Kabuto. It's so embarrassing. You, who originally claimed to be immortal, were also dismembered. How pitiful. Weren't you also killed in the explosion? Deidara also said with dissatisfaction, wrong. That was the ultimate art, the most noble way to die. Stop talking nonsense. They are obviously dead. Aren't you almost the same? Yi Chankan is. This is how the training ends. After speaking breathlessly, Naruto collapsed to the ground in exhaustion. The situation of the 4 children was not much better. Only Cecil stretched out his body, looking relaxed. It was so refreshing and relaxing. Doc handed her his coat and said, good job everyone. Let's go get some drinks. Cecil turned to the breathless people and said, wait here, Ninja World, is that all? I didn't see anything. It seems like it's actually working after all this tiring. Disappointing, so disappointing. Forget it. I'll be satisfied just to see the dead quarrel. Country of Earth Iwagakure. Deidara pouted. You still have the nerve to say you are immortal, but you are still dead, right? On screen Sakura walked over to Naruto and looked down at him. Naruto, this sucks. Today, I feel unwell. Even from the sound of his breathing, one could tell that Naruto was indeed in pain. Mina sat on the ground, hugging her knees in her consciousness. She seemed to have come to an unknown place. Falling from a great height, she saw a monster with many eyes. The next moment, the monster spewed out more a ball of green energy and engulfed her. When she opened her eyes again, she was being held in the arms of a man who was glowing with golden light. It was Naruto. In the distance, something seemed to explode, and a white light lit up, illuminating half the sky. When Mina regained consciousness, her eyes widened instantly. Not far away, Leo was tickling Naruto's itchy spot. Ha 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 ha. Is this man really a hero? As he said that, Faz also helped Leo tickle Naruto's itchy spots. It's a lie. Pure Land. Kushina breathed a sigh of relief. What Mina saw must be the future, right? She scratched her temple with her index finger, confused. Can Naruto use Nine Tails mode so early? And there's this child called Mina. Ryongchi Cave. Orochimaru licked the corner of his lips. Interesting abilities. Not far away, Princess Chikishima had a look of disgust on her face. Stop being funny. Quickly find a way to get rid of those 2 guys outside. Orochimaru spread his hands, looking innocent. Itachi Uchiha is very troublesome. I can't drive them away with just my words. He also had no idea why Itachi and Kakashi had been following him. I can't even drive him away like a pervert. Ninja World. This must be predicting the future. It turns out that Naruto is already this strong now. Mina can see this kind of scene. Could it be related to the Spear of Heaven? On screen Fiden stood up and scolded loudly. You always talk about art, it's so annoying. And you only make ugly bombs, idiot. Deidara pointed at him and said, you are the one. The ceremony is too long. Can't you consider me as a cover? I don't need your protection, you fake artist. Nonsense. Your crappy ability will be completely useless if it leaves the seal. Fiden was furious. Do you want me to curse you and try? It was definitely my art that blew you away first. Chapter 487. Slap. The two looked at each other angrily for a moment. Hidden took the lead and slashed at Deidara with a sickle. Deidara flew backwards and threw out several clay spiders from his sleeves. Just then, 3 pieces of wood emerged from the ground. The two jumped away. Boom! Hidden and Deidara landed and turned to look at the crowd that had just arrived. Leading the group were Sai and Yamato, who had just performed a ninjutsu. Behind the two of them stood 5 guards. Hidden raised his sickle. Warm-up activity is over. Fire Nation Muai Village up. Are these guys sure they can beat the other side? Forget the battles between the strong men on the screen. Back to reality. It's already difficult to deal with just one Deidara. Doesn't Sai have the ability to fly? Maybe we can hold him back for a while. On screen Yuchankin. The 4 children smiled and piled sand on Naruto. Sakura and Mina watched. Ran wiped the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve and turned to look in one direction. There, a little boy ran up to his parents. Can I eat the ice cream over there? The little boy's father touched his head. Sure, the smile on Rand's face faded a little. Sora also turned his head as if he sensed something. The family of 3 were playing in the water happily. Gradually, Leo and Faze also stopped playing. The 4 children looked at the happy family of 3 not far away. Naruto also looked in that direction, and then he heard the children sobbing. At first she just sobbed quietly and called out for her dad and mom, but then her crying became louder and louder. Dad, mother, I miss you guys. Leo and Mina, who was hugging her knees, remained silent. Fire Nation Muai Village, Naruto's house. Naruto sniffed. I don't know if I was infected by the emotions or if I was thinking about my parents somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto sighed. This matter, Yakashi Kabuto went too far. Future Sasuke glanced at him. Now even Dean Dao is not called anymore on screen. So lonely. Naruto was a little absent-minded after coming to his senses. He asked, why do you feel lonely? As he said that, Naruto sat up and looked at Doc and Cecil, who were walking towards him from a distance. Aren't they always there? The 4 children turned to look at Doc and Cecil, who were walking hand in hand, their eyes trembling. The 2 of them were each holding a paper bag containing a drink. I said you don't plan to lose weight at all. That's not true. I will definitely exercise after my injury heals, then I will guide you strictly. Ninja World Alice. How can anyone replace biological parents? Doc, Cecil, look. Naruto has bullied these 3 kids until they are crying. These 2 are actually no different from their parents. You already have 5 children. If you have 1 or 2 more, you won't be able to take care of them. Why don't you give Mina to me to raise? On screen as he got closer, Doc let go of Cecil's hand, seeing that several children were staring at him and Cecil. He asked in confusion, what's wrong with you? None of the 4 children spoke. Doc and Cecil looked at each other on the way home. Rand looked at Doc's back, a hint of desire flashing in his eyes. Hesitantly he reached out his little hand and took Doc's. Doc turned his head, smiled at him, and shook his hand with his backhand, and so he held Rand with one hand and Mina with the other. Sora also smiled and hugged Cecil's arm. Cecil chuckled and glanced at Fuzzy, who was holding her other hand. Leo, who was walking behind, had a look of disappointment on his face. Mina turned around, smiled and stretched out her little hand to him. Leo had a happy smile on his face and ran forward to hold Mina's hand. Sakura looked at the 7 people walking in a row in front of her, holding hands and blocking the street. She was infected by this heartwarming scene, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Only Naruto followed behind the others step by step with difficulty, his face covered with sweat. Sakura turned around. Naruto. She looked at the way Naruto looked at the moment. This is too exaggerated. Naruto walked in and said weakly as he brushed past her, just take a nap. Pure Land cushion. His eyes were filled with pain. Even though he knew Naruto would be fine, he still couldn't help but worry if possible. She even wanted to bear Naruto's pain at this moment. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage Building. Fugaku frowned. What on earth is that black snake? It can even enter the sealed space. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Even as a professor of ninjutsu, he had never seen a snake that could enter a sealed space. Outrageous. It's very likely related to the mysterious scroll that Kabuto worked with. Shikoku shared the result of his analysis, combined with what Mina saw in the scroll's killing behavior. The scroll might be related to the filthy person who took away the power of the Spear of Heaven. On screen in the space of consciousness, Mina looked at Naruto, who was gradually covered by black snakes. A gloomy voice kept repeating the same sentence. Take away, take away. Mina looked at the dark red 9-tailed fox shadow that appeared behind Naruto with fear. That voice seemed to come from the shadow of the 9-tailed fox. Mina's fear grew outside consciousness space. Mina's terrified cry reached everyone's ears. Go out. In the corridor, Doc turned his head. In the kitchen, several children and Cecil looked in the direction of the sound. At the same time, entrance. Mina kept pushing Naruto in front of her with her little hands. Get out. Get out. Get out. Naruto looked bewildered. Cecil hurriedly ran behind Mina and squatted down. You can't do this, Mina. Mina broke free from Cecil's hand and continued to push Naruto. Get out. Get out. A drop of sweat rolled down Cecil's face. What's wrong? How can you say such things to Naruto? Mina, get out. Get out, Mina. Mina. Cecil pulled Mina over. Get out. Get out, Mina. Cecil slapped her lightly, but because she was too young and her skin was very tender, even though Cecil didn't use much force, a clear red mark was still left on Mina's face. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. After Cecil calmed down, his face was full of regret. Mina's eyes suddenly filled with tears. Then she ran away crying. Cecil stared at his palms blankly. Ninja World. All this, poor Naruto, being hated by the little girl. The fact that Cecil took action shows that she really treats Mina as her own child. Of course, Naruto can't leave until you're sure the danger is completely eliminated. Otherwise, who'll save them? Naruto looked so handsome when he was covered in black snakes. Why did he scare Mina like that? Chapter 488 Not like a good person. Fire Nation Muai Village Naruto's house. Cecil should have asked why. Naruto paused for a moment before continuing. Maybe Mina just wanted to protect her family. On screen Doc looked at Mina's back and subconsciously took 2 steps forward, but then he thought of Cecil. He paused, looked back at Cecil who was feeling guilty, and finally turned around and ran towards Mina's room. Inside the room on the 2nd floor, Mina sobbed in Doc's arms. Doc touched her head and turned to look at Cecil who was staring out the window in a daze. In another room, the 4 children listened to the crying coming from the next room in silence. On the roof, she hates you. Naruto was a little confused. Did I do something bad? I don't know. Wise Ioing looked at his profile and asked, are you really okay? Naruto comforted, it's okay. What the 2 didn't realize was on a rooftop in the distance, a man wearing a black hood was watching them. Sakura said, let me see. Naruto said embarrassedly, that? Sakura, that's not allowed. Ninja World, what are you looking at? I want to see it too, Tisk. Naruto, what you said is so ambiguous. Kabuto has appeared. Is the battle about to begin? I wonder how strong Naruto is now. I don't know if Emperor Kai will come here. If he does, there will be no point in playing with Kabuto and that crappy scroll that can chat. On screen it's awkward. Sakura punched Naruto hard. I would be stupid to worry about you, but then she froze looking at the people walking towards me from a distance. Isn't that the mayor? Screen turned Desinus and Doc shook hands. I am here this time to let you know this good news as soon as possible. This person came to our office early this morning. As he finished speaking, an old man with a bandage on his eyes walked out beside him. The old man lifted the hood on his head. Everyone saw his appearance clearly. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage building. He's actually Leo and Mina's grandfather? He's still alive. It looks like only the eye's injured. A smile appeared on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face. Mina and Leo should be very happy now, but I always feel like something is wrong. Isn't it too much of a coincidence that he showed up? Pure Land. Minato frowned slightly. Mina and Leo's grandfather wear the same style of clothes. The only difference is the color. Wrong. Minato's pupils shrank. Tobirama shook his head. I hope I'm overthinking it. On screen as the old man's hood was lifted, a group of people's eyes widened. Grandfather. Leo ran over with tears in his eyes and threw himself into the old man's arms. Grandpa, Grandpa. Mina also ran forward 2 steps, but for some reason, she suddenly stopped. The old man reached out and pulled her into his arms. I'm so glad you 2 are okay. Doc walked up to him, held his hand and said, Village Chief, you are lucky to be safe and sound. The old man raised his head and explained, my eyes were injured, and I wandered in the wilderness for a long time. I was finally saved. Doc, caused you a lot of trouble. Where? Oh, there is something important I must say. Doc was stunned when he heard the old man's words. The old man continued, do you remember what I gave you that night? Doc nodded. That, maybe you have already noticed that it is part of the treasure in the village altar. In order to protect the treasures from being stolen, I took them down, just like what I did to you. I entrusted the rest to other guards. It's a pity that the 5 that Diana had were all taken away. When Mina heard what the old man said, she couldn't help but take 2 steps back. He looked back at Doc, somewhat bewildered. The old man continued, however, the remaining 2 must be defended at all costs, so I plan to hand them over to Desinus here and ask him to keep them safe for me. Desinus beside him nodded. At this time, many people in the ninja world noticed something strange. Something's wrong. It's very wrong. Did the old man say that we can't tell anyone else? In order to keep it a secret, Doc didn't even tell the Konoha ninjas who came to help them. And he just said it out loud in front of everyone. It may be a bit presumptuous, but Mina's grandfather doesn't look like a good person right now. If Kabuto hadn't shown up, I wouldn't have suspected anything if Mina and Leo's grandfather had shown up. But now, did Mina see something from this reaction? I suspect that this white-haired old man was resurrected by the impure world reincarnation and is being controlled by Kabuto. On screen Doc hesitated. Is that really okay? The old man nodded. Well, I think so. Understood. So, where are the remaining 2? As he spoke, the old man stretched out his hand. Little did he know that in Mina's eyes, he suddenly turned into a skeleton. That one is, no. Before Doc could finish his words, he was interrupted by Mina's shout. She pushed the old man hard, then grabbed Leo's arm and pulled him back to Doc. Grandpa is not right. Several people were stunned. The bandage on the old man's face fell off, revealing his eyes. Naruto looked solemn. This guy, Sakura continued, reincarnation. This girl is very perceptive. Hearing the voice, Naruto and Sakura were startled and looked back. The pharmacist on the roof continued, maybe it's a special child. Pocket. Kabuto leaped onto the street and clasped his hands together. 4 coffins emerged from the ground. Dasane's pupils shrank. Have you been cheated? Dao opened his mouth and gave an order, catch that fat guy and get the information from him. Then, he didn't say anything else. But an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Naruto formed a hand seal and created a shadow clone that rushed towards the impure world. Reincarnation ninja Sakura rushed to Kabuto with her fist raised and punched him. Kabuto dodged with a leap after missing the target with a punch. A reincarnated ninja tried to attack from behind, but was hit on the head by Sakura's punch. Gekao Gale rushed towards Naruto with a samurai sword in hand, but Naruto dodged his sword twice in a row. Gekao Gale kicked Naruto's arm, causing him to slide back several meters. After stopping, Naruto began to breathe heavily. Doc turned around and saw the white-haired old man with a samurai sword drawn. Just when the old man was about to hide him with his knife, Cecil came up to the old man, held his wrist with his hand, and then swung it hard, and the old man was immediately thrown out. Chapter 489 Misunderstanding. Ninja World. What a hero saving a beautiful girl. Cecil may not be a ninja, but her strength does not seem to be much weaker than that of a ninja. It's exactly what I guessed. Doc should exercise. As a man, he can't always rely on women to protect him. That reincarnated ninja gave me a lot of pressure. He was so skillful in slaughtering the villagers, but he was killed instantly in front of Sakura. On screen the old man fell to the ground, and the samurai sword in his hand flew out. Cecil picked up the knife from the ground. The old man tried to get up tremblingly. Doc said in a complicated tone, "Village chief." Leo held the trembling Mina in his arms. Grandfather, Madara. Kabuto held up 2 fingers. The old man's body flew directly back into the coffin. After all, the dying sacrifice has limited abilities. This moment of effort, the remaining impure world reincarnation ninjas had already started chasing Doc, and Cecil, holding a samurai sword, ran while covering their retreat. When Desinus saw the impure world reincarnation ninja chasing him, he turned and ran away, followed by 2 guards with knives. In a family, a child is playing with a toy car on a round table while his father is reading a newspaper. The child's mother had just walked over with tea when the door outside suddenly broke open, and a figure flew into the room. With wood chips on the door flying everywhere, the impure world reincarnation ninja just tried to get up when Sakura ran in and kicked him in the face. Boom! There was a big hole in the wall of the room. Sakura turned around and looked at the frightened family of 3, her face full of apology. Sorry. After saying that, she chased after him on a street. Naruto was still at a disadvantage in the physical battle with Gekao Gale, and was kicked away by him. His back hit the wall hard, creating a big hole in the rock wall. Naruto covered his arm and looked at the incoming wind. A moment later, Naruto's shadow clones who were fighting with the impure world reincarnation disappeared one after another. Naruto's real body also fell not far from Doc and his companions, near Raichi Cave. Although I know that Naruto will be fine, I still worry when I see this situation. Kakashi rubbed his chin. After all, the opponent is that guy, somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto rubbed his eyes. Dad is defeated already. This Konoha ninja's taijutsu is so strong. Although my dad is not in good shape at this moment, his strength is not comparable to that of ordinary ninjas. Right, future Sasuke nodded. In terms of taijutsu skills, Naruto is indeed no match for Gekao Hayate. If I remember correctly, that guy is a genius who entered the ninja school at the age of 2. Boruto was even more shocked. 2 years old, is this true? How can a 2-year-old pass the entrance exam? Fire Nation Muai Village. Moonlight Clan. Moonlight Gale's father looked very proud, as expected of my son. Even Naruto is no match for him. Although Naruto just didn't use the Sage mode and Nine Tails mode, his condition was still very bad. It's a pity that my son died young. Moonlight Gale's mother slapped her son on the forehead. How could you be so harsh on Naruto? Moonlight Gale, who was covering his forehead, said, cough. On screen Naruto fell to the ground and rolled over in pain. Naruto. Sakura flashed and came to Naruto's side. What's wrong, Naruto? The only answer Sakura got was Naruto's wailing in pain. Mina watched as Naruto grabbed his stomach with both hands, his pupils trembling. The voice came into her ears again. Take it away, take it away. In her eyes, there were countless black snakes around Naruto and crawling towards him. Mina plucked up her courage, ran behind Naruto aggressively, and stretched out her little hand to push Naruto's back. Get out. Get out. Get out. Mina kept repeating this sentence. This scene shocked everyone in the ninja world. What Mina meant all along is, this. I'm sorry for misunderstanding you before, Mina. I thought Mina wanted to drive Naruto away out of fear, so I thought she was very ignorant. This little girl, I'm slapping myself right now. I actually thought Mina was having a seizure before. I'm the one having a seizure, Somewhere in the ninja world Boruto shuddered. So Mina doesn't hate Dad. Fire Nation Muai Village Naruto's house. Did I guess wrong too? Jiraiya sighed. The child was weak in expression and didn't know how to explain. He wanted to drive away the dirt that had invaded your body, but Cecil misunderstood and slapped him. He could only bury his head in Doc's arms and cry in grievance. Naruto took 10,000 points of critical damage in his heart, especially when he thought that the other person was younger than he was. Now maximize critical hits. It's a pity that Mina hasn't been born yet, otherwise I would really like to meet her. Jiraiya glanced at him. Is this touching? The old man also told himself an even more shocking news. He couldn't imagine how Naruto would react to if he heard it. Only he and the village's top leaders knew about this. No one told Naruto because they were afraid of putting too much pressure on him on screen. Doc, who didn't realize what Mina meant, put his hand on Mina's shoulder. Mina, don't do this. Mina, get out. Get out. Get out. Naruto held the forward protector in his hand and swung his arms in pain to hit Mina. Fire Nation Muai Village Naruto's house. Naruto's pupils shrank. Seeing that the forward protector still hit Mina's face, Naruto's heart trembled. Jiraiya's mouth twitched when I saw blood flowing from the corner of Mina's mouth. Why are you so careless? Can't you just hold back a little? He pointed at Naruto angrily and shouted accusations. Naruto, this won't happen again. On screen Mina wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth with the back of her hand, and continued to push Naruto regardless of the swelling on her face. Get out. Get out. Get out. Not far away Cecil pinned the impure world reincarnation ninja to the ground with his samurai sword. Mina's repeated words reached her ears, and she turned her head to look. The four children also looked at this scene with worry. Mina, Doc tried to tell Mina to stop. Mina, get out. Get out. Mina, Doc put his hand on Mina's back and was about to pull her away. At this moment, Mina shouted, get out of Naruto's brother's body. Following Mina's shout, Naruto somehow found the strength to stand up and vomited a pool of black substance from his mouth. Ninja world, that's really it? Mina actually succeeded. She can actually do it, instead of doing something inexplicable. I feel so sorry for this child. I misunderstood her before. Who can understand how guilty I am now? And Cecil, I'm afraid she must be dying of guilt. Mina is the one who should be protected, unlike a loser like me who can't do anything for Naruto. Mina just wanted to drive the black snake out of Naruto's body? Isn't she afraid of Naruto? Chapter 490 Clones. On screen the pool of black substance that Naruto vomited spread rapidly. Looking closely, the black object was filled with small black snakes. Seeing this, Doc quickly carried Mina away from here. Several people looked at the scene in front of them in shock. The corners of Dao's mouth curled up in mid-air. The black snake left Naruto's body and slowly condensed into the form of a Jinchuriki's tailed beast, with four tails growing behind it. Kabuto's figure flashed and came behind the clone of Naruto who had transformed into a tailed beast, and stabbed the talisman tied with a kunai into the clone's brain. Unexpectedly, the clone suddenly turned around and looked at him, and grabbed him with a claw. Dao quickly jumped back to avoid it. Divine space because it devoured the Kyuubi's chakra. I didn't expect Kabuto could even do something like this. Obito shook his head. Pity, Orochimaru never thought of cooperating with him, so naturally Kabuto Yakashi wouldn't either. Ryongchi Cave. Orochimaru laughed and said in a hoarse voice, you are the one who created you. Are you going to cross the river and destroy the bridge just like that? Is it because it has no intelligence, or has its thoughts been copied as well? Somewhere in the ninja world Boruto looked surprised. Why is this dad's clone killing him? Aren't they supposed to be in the same group? On screen the seal of the pocket the clone was completely controlled. After a roar, it bypassed Naruto who was lying on the ground and punched Sakura in the face. Sakura flew backwards dozens of meters, and her back hit the rock wall, making a big hole. Naruto stood up and glared at the clone fiercely. The clone came up to Naruto and punched him in the face, then punched him twice more as he flew backwards. The last kick sent Naruto flying into the air. Naruto coughed up a mouthful of blood in mid-air. The next moment, the clone appeared in front of him, punched him into the mountain with a clenched fist. Boom! The ground cracked and the clone roared towards the sky. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage building. A drop of sweat slid down Sarutobi Hiruzen's face. Is he so strong? Fugaku frowned. It's a bit unexpected. Even Sakura couldn't fight back. Hiruno family. Hiruno Mibuki said angrily, Zioing, you are too weak. You were defeated right at the start. Sakura roared, don't you even look at what the enemy is. Is that something I can deal with? Hiruno Mibu curled her lips. Excuse me. You dared to fight even if it was Madara, but you can't beat a mere tailed beast. Did I touch Madara? Did I touch him? Huh? Hiruno Mibuki recalled. That's right. Apart from the time you punched the Ten Tails clone and the battle against Uchiha, you have always been lame. Sakura, Ninja World stand up. Naruto. Don't lose to your own copy, no need to think, Naruto is going to be defeated again. In his current state, what can he use to fight against the tailed beast clones? With his unyielding faith, it's not far from the Fourth Shinobi World War, right? In other words, Naruto is already very strong now, but he was beaten like this by Kabuto's few snakes. I guess this is when Naruto learned to control the Nine Tails power, that's why it's called the power arc. On screen the clone turned its gaze towards Doc and the others, and Kabuto Yakashi raised his finger, trying to control the talisman in the clone's body, but it was easily broken free then. The clone leaped and rushed towards Doc and his companions. The clones were too fast, and there was no way to hide, so Doc and Cecil could only protect one child each. At this time two green figures suddenly appeared and kicked the clone away. Ninja World. Okay, this ninja game can end now. Please welcome the most handsome man in our ninja world, Emperor Kai. Although I won't use my full strength, it should be no problem to deal with the tailed beast replica. Qiu Li is here too. Father and son, bah. Master and disciple team up, they are invincible. That's Naruto's tailed beast clone. It's not that easy to deal with. Will Naruto be okay? He was beaten so badly earlier. On screen after landing, Qiu Li and Kai assumed fighting stances. What a ferocious look. This guy must be guilty of a heinous crime. As soon as the words fell, a voice reached their ears. That is Naruto in the Nine Tails form. The master and disciple were stunned and turned to look. Kakashi hugged the unconscious Naruto and explained to them, it is fundamentally different from the shadow clone. His eyes are as big as bells every day. Neji opened his Byakugan. Such a powerful Nine Tails chakra. Kabuto in midair said, this is a clone that is exactly the same as the real one. By the way, it seems that even the Nine Tails chakra was copied. After saying that, he seemed to sense something, and turned around to see her using Kaguya to attack him, and he jumped to avoid it. Just as he was about to land, he saw several black shadows grabbing towards him. Four snakes emerged from his sleeves and hit the ground to gain leverage. The shadow wrapped around the snake and continued to claw at him. Kabuto flipped backwards and avoided the shadow's maximum distance on the ground. Shikamaru retracted his shadow. Kakashi, who was not far away, looked at Kabuto. Is it the imitation material used to make him in? When did you attack Naruto? Dao, who was standing on the water, said, it was just a coincidence, but the result was beyond my expectation. Kakashi pulled back the forward protector that was covering his left eye. Don't try to escape. The corners of Dao's mouth curled up. The clone suddenly roared to the sky. A large number of coffins emerged from the ground and surrounded several people. Kakashi and others suddenly felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Near Raichi Cave, Kakashi slapped his forehead. Why did I have to say that harsh word? Now it's Dao's turn to say don't even think about escaping. On screen Kabuto spoke slowly. It seems like it will be very pleasant. As soon as he finished speaking, the clone moved and directly knocked Qiu Li, who was beside Kai, away. Then it slapped Kai with its claws, but Kai dodged it in a seemingly embarrassed manner. Kai dodged the next series of attacks one by one. Qiu Li stood up and rushed towards the clone standing still. Kabuto dodged Kakashi's attack and flashed past. The little strong men of Konoha have all found their opponents when fighting with a clone. Qiu Li was knocked out again not far away. Leo's eyes sparkled. Doc was stunned. This is the battle of ninjas. Amazing. As soon as he finished speaking, Leo couldn't help but be shocked. Master Kai and his apprentice Qiu Li were hit by the clones. Their feet rubbed against the ground and slid for more than 10 meters before crashing into the rock wall behind them. The two walked out of the hole that was smashed, and Kai said seriously, Li, prepare to use that move? Yes. Kai closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, his hair stood on end and his aura surged. The same is true for Qiu Li next to him. Wabang! The clone was directly knocked down by the master and disciple before it hit the ground. Kai kicked it away. Qiu Li appeared on the other side and kicked it back. Fire Nation Muai Village. Uchiha clan land inside the mansion. Uchiha Guang complained speechlessly. You two are so strong. Have you ever thought of sending one of you to help the other teammates who are struggling? Naruto's house. Jiraiya aside, you're really good at kicking the nine-tailed beast clone like a ball, Kai. Chapter 491. Like a natural disaster. On screen Qiu Li punched the clone one after another. Kai punched the clone in the face, sending it flying. The clone's body flew 100 meters away like a cannonball and smashed a house through. The next moment, two figures came to the pierced house and assumed fighting posture. Strength. Hearing this voice, the two were stunned. I want more power. As it spoke, its figure soared into the sky and came near Naruto. Hinata, who was in charge of taking care of Naruto, assumed a fighting stance not far away. Neji, who was fighting against the impure world reincarnation ninja. Heard a scream and turned around to see Hinata flying backwards. Lady Hinata, Niji caught Hinata and looked in Naruto's direction. The clone grabbed Naruto's stomach strength, within sealed space. Interesting, I can give you chakra on the roof. Kakashi is fighting with Kabuto. After hearing the noise coming from afar, he turned his head to look, and this glance made his pupils shrink immediately. The clone's body is growing larger. The villagers below fled in fear. The clone held Naruto, raised his hand high, and then threw him out with force. Naruto's body smashed directly into the crowd. The people around took a few steps back in fear. All the ninjas of Konoha stopped fighting. The clone roared and began to condense the tailed beast ball in its mouth. Kakashi ignored Kabuto Yakashi and hurried towards the clone. That is, called out. The tailed beast ball flattened countless houses and flew out along the mountain top. Ninja world. At this time, Naruto has not yet received the Nine Tails' approval, otherwise the Nine Tails would not have lent the clone its power. Naruto is really lucky. If it were anyone else, they would have turned into pulp. It's getting worse and worse. Is it because Emperor Kai can't use the 8 gates easily because of the side effects? I'm a little disappointed that I can't see him open the 7 gates. On screen, the 4 Yamadas who were fighting outside the village heard the sound, stopped fighting and turned to look. Boom! The tailed beast ball exploded near them. A gust of wind and waves came. What's wrong? In the village, the clone destroyed a house with one slap. The flying debris almost hit Doc and his men who were fleeing into the distance. Shikamaru, who was controlling the impure world ninja with the shadow binding technique, jumped back and avoided the clone's kick. The clone's tail swept around, smashing the house behind it, and the villager who was running away with his son was buried by the rocks. Kai looked at Kakashi, who was holding 2 children in the distance. Kakashi, okay. Let's go rescue the residents too. As soon as he finished speaking, the figures of the Konoha ninjas disappeared with a swish. On a street, Doc, who was running away holding Mina, stopped. The 2 looked at each other, and Doc put Mina down. Caesar, protect the children. With that, Doc ran towards Naruto, who was lying on the ground. Elder brother, the situation was urgent and there was no point in worrying. Cecil wanted to pick up Mina and continue running away, but Mina took a step back and avoided her hand. Looking at Mina's stubborn eyes, Cecil pursed his lips. Leo walked over and took Mina's hand. Ninja world, it's like a natural disaster. Even in Konoha back then, there were still ninjas to contain the Nine Tails, but the destructive power of this clone can't be compared to the Nine Tails. I don't know how many villagers will die in Yecheng village this time. That slap created a rift between the 2 of us. I hope it can be completely eliminated in the future. Even as a bystander, I think Mina wanted to drive Naruto away because she was afraid. As a person involved, you can't blame Cecil for not understanding Mina's behavior. On screen at far away, Naruto? Doc tried to wake Naruto up, but failed. The clones behind him were getting closer and closer, so he could only carry the still unconscious Naruto on his back and run away. But before he could take 2 steps, he stepped on a can and fell to the ground with Naruto. Teacher, children in the distance shouted anxiously. The clone came in front of Doc and Naruto, roaring and raising 1 foot. Dao's goal had not yet been achieved, so he would not just watch Doc get trampled to death, so he quickly formed a seal. Boom! A giant python emerged from the ground and attacked the clone's feet. Screen turned. Step aside. Feel sorry. Kai and Qiu Li were rushed to the hospital by this seriously injured villager in the office. Yamato, Kakashi and several other Konoha ninjas gathered here. Kakashi stood behind the desk, his eyes fixed on the open drawer. Yes, when I came to my senses, I found that the mayor was missing. I hope he is safe, everyone. Fortunately, no one was killed. Fire Nation Muai Village, your mayor ran away a long time ago, and you are still kept in the dark. I don't think this mayor is a good person. His face gives me a very gloomy feeling. Isn't it too much to say that no one was killed? Compared to the neighboring Tanaka village, should the people of Yecheng village be grateful to pharmacist Kabuto for showing mercy? The previous massacre of the village was also caused by the scroll, which wanted to kill everyone. The massacre was not Dao's original intention. No one died here. He wanted to get the secret treasure at the lowest cost and had no intention of killing innocent villagers. The village massacre has already happened. He will always be the sinner who arbitrarily deprived others of their lives and caused children to lose their loved ones, unless it is said that the impure world reincarnation was not performed by him. Hokage building, it looks like the clone has been dealt with, but I don't know how. Fugaku crossed his arms and snorted, looking down on Decimus for abandoning the villagers and running away. The villagers of Yecheng village are really unlucky to have such a useless village chief. On screen, hearing this, everyone in Konoha breathed a sigh of relief. Very good, Sai asked, but what about Naruto and Mr. Doc? Screen turn. Inside the giant pit altar, Doc kicked hard at the rock wall in front of him. Naruto's weak voice reached his ears. Uncle. Doc ran over with a look of surprise on his face. Naruto Yi-chan-kun in the office. Kakashi said, Miss Cecil said that when the Nine-Tails stepped on it, she saw something like a giant snake. Since the body has not been found, I am afraid it has fallen into the hands of Tao. The reason why the Akatsuki people were suddenly recalled during the battle was because Kabuto had already completed his set goal. Right, Ninja World, go and rescue Naruto. The body was not found because I had taken it home to give birth to Boruto. Really? With Emperor Kai around, an unconscious Naruto could still be abducted. On screen inside the giant pit altar, Naruto is tied up. This is, Doc said, not sure. I was here when I woke up. Naruto struggled hard. Doc tried to untie him. However, he was frightened by the black snake that emerged from Naruto's body and took several steps back, falling to the ground. Chapter 492 Giant Pit. On screen, Yi-chan-kun in the office and that cloned Nine-Tails. For some reason it's rapidly weakening. Kabuto is a bit flustered in controlling it. I'm afraid it's still not in good condition. Speaking of which, what exactly is his purpose? After hearing what Yamato said, Shikamaru analyzed, judging from the level of the ninja who was reincarnated by the impure world reincarnation, he doesn't seem to be planning to fight us at all. The entrance of the office building. Sakura finds Cecil. The two of them sat on the steps at the gate. Yes, I can only believe that they are both safe. Brother, Sakura seemed to suddenly remember something. Where are the children? Cecil explained, they were afraid of blood and wounded people, so I sent them home first. Doc, some of them were still hugging their knees, huddled in a room. The mood is a bit depressed. The fat boy Foz sobbed, and finally burst into tears hearing his crying. The other children also started crying. Ninja World, go save Naruto. What are those people in Konoha thinking? Why did Kabuto capture Naruto? For the Nine-Tails chakra, Naruto's life was too rough. He went through so much, but he died young in his 30s. It's really not worth it for him. On screen, Sailed Space admitted, that is your nature. You and I are of one mind. Come, give me your body, liberate me. Naruto was lying on the ground with his eyes open, seemingly unconscious, and had no reaction to the Nine-Tails words. Naruto. At this moment, Naruto suddenly heard a familiar voice. Naruto, Naruto, are you okay? It was Doc. Naruto's eyes glowed red, and he turned around and stared at him fiercely, saying, leave me alone. Seeing this scene, Doc was so scared that he stepped back and sat down on the ground. Naruto regained some consciousness after taking a deep breath. He said weakly, I'm sorry. Screen turn. Yi-chan-kun office building entrance. Get out. Get out. Get out. Mina, Mina. Cecil recalled the scene of slapping Mina before and lowered his head in self-blame. In memory, Cecil, who was sitting next to Doc, sighed. Alice, I really did it. I am not her biological mother at all, but I hide her. Doc comforted her. I think it's because you are sincere to the children, but I know Mina very well, about her behavior in the village. She is not a girl who would say such things, so there must be other reasons. The four children went upstairs quietly and happened to hear what Doc said. Doc hesitated for a moment and said, let's send him to an orphanage. This is for their own good. I can't always rely on you, Ninja World. Doc, do you know how much of a blow this statement is to these four children? Doc and Cecil are both very good people. They definitely won't give it to them. Doc probably said that out of consideration for Cecil's feelings. As for that slap Cecil gave me, I can totally understand it. Even if it was my own daughter, I would have slapped her if she treated Naruto like that. Doc is right. Given Cecil's personality, how could he have done that if he wasn't sincere towards Mina? Based on my understanding of this tragic ninja world, it is very likely that one of Doc and Cecil will die in the end. After all, this ninja world is really terrible in my eyes, which is why I support the Bito and Madara. Anyway, come on. I'm ready. On screen, the four children on the stairs were silent. No one said anything. Cecil's face didn't show much surprise at Doc's words. I think, how nice it would be if we could adopt those children and live together. After hearing Cecil's words, hope rekindled in the eyes of the four children. Cecil looked at Doc with deep affection in his eyes. Have fun with everyone, laugh together, cry together, and sometimes quarrel together. And then, there's someone who is always by my side. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Cecil held his hand. Is it not possible? Doc still said nothing, but he squeezed her hand like default. At least that's what Cecil thought. Cecil closed his eyes and moved his lips towards hers just when they were about to kiss. Doc moved away. Cecil said helplessly, I don't mind continuing to call each other brother and sister. Is that still not possible? She seemed to suddenly remember something. Do you still mind that matter? It's not my brother's fault at all. I'm completely fine now. Doc suddenly turned to look at her, shook his head, and 2 lines of tears flowed from his eyes. Don't say that. You can't have children. The 4 children on the stairs left silently, seeing his guilty look. Cecil felt uncomfortable as well. Sorry. Inside the giant pit altar, Doc, sitting on the ground, pressed his thumb between his eyebrows. I hope everyone will be safe. Naruto's voice reached his ears once again. I'm sorry, Uncle. This is all my fault. That guy is also me. That is another nature lurking in my body. If anything happens to Auntie and the children, Having said this, Naruto, who was lying on the ground, turned his head away. No, you are just being used. That is not you at all. Its appearance? Naruto's eyes turned red in an instant, and he looked at Doc fiercely. That's me. The bound Naruto slowly stood up. Kill, destroy everything. I will wipe out everything. After saying that, Naruto fell down again. Ninja World Doc probably won't dare to comfort Naruto anymore. Ha ha ha. Would Doc be terrified? Is this the Nine Tails trying to seize control of Naruto's body? Don't mention it. Naruto looks pretty handsome like this. On screen, Yachank in peace and tranquility have returned here office building. As soon as Kakashi walked out of the office building, he saw Sakura and Cecil sitting at the door. Sakura, get ready, we're about to leave. Yes, Zioing responded, stood up and asked, but where are we going? Kakashi said, the huge pit. I think Kabuto is there. I am coming too. Cecil stood up quickly. Please allow me to go with you. Although I may just be a burden to you ninjas. As she spoke, her voice gradually became softer. Hearing Cecil say this, Kakashi narrowed his eyes into crescents and smiled softly. That's not the case. I understand how you feel about your loved one. Let's go together. Doxlia slowly raised his head like some kind of decision was made inside the giant pit altar. Naruto struggled hard. Somewhere in the ninja world, Boruto kept talking. Even if I wanted to save you, most people don't have the courage. Dad, Uncle Kakashi's smile is so warm. I really don't understand why he is still single. And Leo, I always feel like he's going to go with him too. Isn't that just adding to the chaos? Future Sasuke was speechless. How dare you say such things? Could you please stop causing trouble for others? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493, The Mastermind Behind the Scenes. On screen, you think that people like you who have great power must bear great responsibility for the consequences, whether they use the power for good or evil, but you put your strength. Doc looked at Naruto and asked, what is the reason that makes you want to become stronger? Ninja World Doc probably wants Naruto to remember his dream and use this belief to defeat the consciousness of the Nine Tails in his body. Didn't I tell you before? Kill, destroy, and destroy everything. Why are you still asking? If you just answer by saying you want to be the Hokage, that's too monotonous. Become the man who is the Hokage. Naruto's dream is of course to become Hokage. Even though he saved the ninja world, he still studied for a long time before becoming Hokage. On screen, Naruto's eyes were dull in his mind. The image of Iruka flashed, followed by Sakura, Kakashi, Yamato, all his companions. I want to protect my companions, the most important people. Finally, there's Sasuke. I want to rescue my friend. Doc encouraged, believe that this strong will surely guide you, guide your strength, and find a direction to move forward. In the space of consciousness, Naruto, whose consciousness was half devoured, suddenly heard Minato's gentle voice. Don't be confused, I trust you. The next moment, Naruto regained consciousness completely. Doc limped over to Naruto, took out Konoha's forward protector and handed it to Naruto. I picked it up for you. I trust you believe in the power of your own righteousness. Naruto looked at him for a long moment, then nodded heavily. Ninja World, I really didn't notice this detail. I was wondering why Naruto became more handsome. It turns out that he is not wearing a forward protector, so this is the meaning of the power chapter. Protect. Naruto is protecting more than just his companions. I thought he would scare Doc again, but he didn't. The old Naruto is finally back. On screen, Doc's home. Leo said, go save the teacher. Hearing his words, the other 4 children in the room looked up. Those who cannot do it will be killed. It's too dangerous. And Miss Cecil also told us to stay here. The 3 children spoke one by one, except Mono. Leo stood up with a determined look in his eyes. If it weren't for the teacher, we would have died long ago. Besides, what those guys want is right in our hands. This time it's our turn to save the teacher. After hearing his words, The three children finally made up their minds. Fuzz stood up and clenched his fists. Let's go. But where to go? Do I need to ask where we are going? Of course, our village, Fire Nation Muai Village. I have no idea what effect they can have. Send what Dao wants. You little guys are brave, but I'm most afraid of this situation. Facing an enemy like Dao, even the captain of the security team, Cecil, would be a burden, let alone them. Even though Kai won't go all out, I'd feel more at ease if he went with him. On screen inside the altar of the giant pit, Doc looked at the four people who appeared in front of him, especially the figure in the middle, which made him look astonished. Mayor Dishonest looked at the two and said, "Game over." If the idiots in the town hall hadn't reported it to the state, this matter would have been over long ago. Do you know the value of the sound in your hands? As he spoke, Dishonest spread out the scroll in his hand. The next moment, the scroll lit up, and a glowing sound appeared in front of Doc. Dishonest laughed as he looked at the key in front of him. That unlocked the melody of the ancient ruins. This is the song that has been sleeping here for many years, an ancient legacy. The guard's resistance was more intense than expected, and it took a lot of effort to get it. After saying this with a smile, Dishonest took out another scroll from his sleeve. The corner of Dishonest's mouth curled up. It's all the village chief's fault for doing so much unnecessary work. I wasted so much time collecting sounds. Doc looked furious. So who attacked the village? Dishonest pointed at Dao. It was me. I asked him to do it. Pure Land. Madara didn't even bother to look at it. Hashirama looked angry. Izuna snorted softly. Idiot. Looking at Dishonest's smug look, Tobirama's eyes were cold. Do you really think you can have the last laugh? Ninja World. It turns out that he is the mastermind behind this. I knew that was the case. I said earlier that this old guy didn't look like a good person, and it turns out he was right. What is he so proud of? He doesn't think he can have the last laugh, does he? You old man don't deserve it. Even if he wins, the one who has the last laugh is Dao. On screen asshole, Doc rushed forward angrily, but was knocked away by the ninja guarding nearby. Another ninja appeared behind him and restrained him. Dishonest pulled back his hood and touched the hideous wound on his head. Do you know how much effort I put into regaining my lost power? I climbed to the position of mayor by exploring the legend, and unearthed the hidden secrets, and this was confirmed. He came to Doc and pinched his mouth with his hand. Tell me, where's the remaining sound? I don't have time to waste with you. I'll let you die more easily. At this point, he released Doc's mouth. No, I might as well kill you and then use the impure world reincarnation to pry your mouth open. After saying that, he burst into laughter. You bastard. Dishonest turned to look at the source of the voice. Naruto, you are incredible. I heard that you defeated Akatsuki's Pine? Even I was defeated by him. I lost my power because of this, but even so I am still alive. Rain Country Zio Organization. Nagato was puzzled. Will this happen again in the future? Then if you see him next time, just kill him. Somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto scratched his head. What does this guy mean by regaining lost power? Could he be the filthy one? It can't be the dead in red flames, right? On screen Naruto stood up and roared, I am not interested in your past. If you dare to hurt me, I will kill you. Dishonest was shocked by his appearance at this moment. Kabuto held up two fingers, and the snake restraining Naruto tightened. Naruto cried out in pain and fell to the ground again. Kabuto said, these snakes will consume chakra. The stronger the chakra you release, the tighter the bond will be. After saying this, he seemed to sense something and was stunned. Dishonest stepped on Naruto again and again. You little brat, are you still so arrogant? What do you think you are? Doc closed his eyes, unable to bear the sight. Tonica Villagia. Mysterious man wearing a black hood appeared in front of the five children. Sora was startled, and the other four children were also a little scared. Leo took out the two silver iron pipes from Mina's sleeve and handed them over. His whole body was shaking with fear. This thing, is what you want, right? This is for you. Return Teacher Doc and Brother Naruto to us. Chapter 494. Gather together. Ninja World. Even though he has obtained the most powerful power in the ninja world, Dishonest is still a despicable villain. Doesn't he think about who he is? If you have the guts, let Naruto go for a fair fight. Children are so naive that they even believe they're enemies. How can Kabuto return Naruto? In terms of value, Naruto is of course more valuable than sound. For these kids, sound is definitely not as important as the people they care about, and they don't even know what sound is, as expected. I gave it away for free right after I got here. Take it away, then kill Naruto and Doc in front of them to teach them a lesson, so they know not to trust others so easily in the future. Somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto complained to Kabuto Yakashi, this sentence means that I'm giving you the sound. Can you not kill us? What's the difference between us and the fish on the chopping board? Future Sasuke said dimly. I thought you would identify with these kids. Boruto was stunned after careful consideration. He fell silent. Yes, if it were him, he would also choose to save people, especially Leo, whose style of doing things is very similar to his own, in order to save the lives of his sister and 3 other companions. Even he would choose to hand over Yin, but he will definitely find a way to resist, and Leo had no ability to resist. On screen inside the giant pit altar, the corners of Dao's mouth curled up. It seems that the sound is in the hands of the children. Doc was shocked. What? Decimus, who was kicking Naruto, turned around with a look of surprise. It's right above. After saying that, Dao looked at Doc again. Take up the courage to save you. Hearing what Dao said, Doc's nervous face was covered with sweat. Outside Tanaka village, Dao, the other one is probably a clone, and there are maybe 5 children. After hearing what Niji said, Cecil suddenly became anxious. It's those kids. No wonder you're not at home. But why are you here? Kakashi said. Anyway, approach with caution. Inside the giant pit altar, teacher, children, Doc struggled. Decimus looked at the yin in Leo's arms, and the corners of his mouth curled up. Doc said anxiously, stop. Don't hurt the children. Decimus stepped forward and snatched the sound away. All collected, all 7 collected. His tone was full of excitement. Success. I succeeded. Now the power will return to me. Naruto struggled hard. Work to do. After struggling twice more, he suddenly froze, swallowing chakra. Naruto thought of a solution. He closed his eyes and absorbed the fairy chakra not far away. If you want to control the power, you must use the combination pattern of 7 sounds. Start in a specified order. Depending on the mode, the amount of power release will increase or decrease accordingly. The input using sound can be updated manually or automatically every 7 hours. When the sound combination encounters a pattern that does not exist or is wrong, the last updated content will be maintained. As he spoke, Decimus inserted 7 iron pipes into the instrument. If this is the correct arrangement, the top of the iron pipe lit up red. Ninja World, I guess Dao must be thanking this old man for his explanation. Tisk. When I saw the look in Dao's eyes, I knew this guy was bound to have an accident, and it was Dao's fault, for slaughtering innocent villagers and kicking Naruto. He deserves to be cut into pieces. I don't know how strong this power is. I don't want this to happen in real life, but on the screen, I hope I can see it. Somewhere in the ninja world. Future Sasuke shook his head. The power of the Spear of Heaven may be great, but he believed in Naruto more. On screen, Mina hummed a mysterious melody. Naruto didn't know when dozens of toads appeared around him. A moment the altar glowed red. Naruto opened his eyes. The earth shook violently. Even Doc was freed from his restraints by the shaking Mina. Doc stepped forward and hugged Mina in his arms. After the excitement, Doc looked up at the other children. Why are you messing around, Leo? Because, sorry, we miss our teacher. Doc was startled. Ninja World, huh? Now Doc can't vent his anger even if he wants to. Being angry is fine, but being touched should account for the majority of it. Who would have the heart to blame someone who has been worrying about him and risking his life to save his child? The toad next to Naruto. Is it from Mount Maiboku? What is Naruto summoning this thing for? Pure Land. Minato suddenly realized. Do you want these snakes to absorb Senjutsu chakra? Tobirama probably guessed what Naruto meant and gave Naruto a thumbs up in his heart. At the critical moment, the 7th generation's IQ is still online. On screen the altar slowly closed, and Naruto was about to be pinned down, with orange eyeshadows appearing on his face. Looking at the Spear of Heaven rising from the ground in front of him, Decimus was excited. Awesome, awesome. So awesome. Feeling the chakra of the Spear of Heaven, Kabuto couldn't help but exclaim, how amazing. Doc stared blankly at the thing that emerged from the ground. This is the Spear of Heaven. Decimus looked down at the operating instrument with 7 iron pipes inserted into it. If this is the activation mode, then the release of power should be. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from behind him. Excessive ambition will destroy oneself. This is not something that humans can control. As soon as he finished speaking, Yamato, Sai, and Sakura appeared beside him at the same time. I have checked the previous wanted poster. You were thought to have died in the fight with Akatsuki. You are good at summoning, and you are a murderer who has taken thousands of lives. You have also worked with Orochimaru to study forbidden techniques, impure world reincarnation. Listening to Kakashi's words, Decimus's lips curled up. Kakashi said in a deep voice, just surrender, Decimus. Decimus first glanced at the Konoha ninjas who surrounded him, then looked at Kabuto. Kabuto understood what he meant and put his hands together, and several coffins and 2 giant pythons emerged from the ground. Looking at the huge python, Cold sweat broke out on the faces of the Konoha ninjas. The giant python opened its mouth and the bound clone fell out of it and onto the ground. The clone was now like a tiger that had not eaten for several days, looking fiercely at the Konoha ninjas around it, as if it wanted to rush up and tear them to pieces and eat them alive. The reincarnated ninjas also walked out of the coffins one by one. Seeing this, Kakashi pulled out his kunai. Hearing the clone's suppressed roar, the civilians in the ninja world were terrified. Ninja world, who the hell peed in my brother Obito's bed? This clone is so scary. Facing these guys, the only way is for Emperor Kai to open the 7 gates, or for Naruto to break the seal and release the 9 tails. Right, I discovered something incredible. Impure world reincarnation is actually a space-time ninjutsu, right? The last time Kabuto performed impure world reincarnation, a coffin appeared out of thin air. Chapter 495. The situation is reversed. On screen, older brother, Caesar. The two hugged each other tightly. The mouth in Dieter's palm moved. Hidden raised his side. The Kakashi pulled open his forehead protector. His face solemn. The clone roared and struggled to break free from the restraints. Everyone is ready for battle at this time. Everyone in the field heard Naruto's voice. Leave this guy to me. Everyone looked up. Naruto, who had already activated Sage Mode, lowered his head and looked down. Fire Nation Muai Village. I knew nothing could stump Naruto. So cool. Naruto in Sage Mode is more handsome than ever. Even in Sage Mode, Naruto is very powerful. It will definitely not be a problem for him to deal with a mere clone. I was completely distracted by the high-level battles on the screen. In fact, even at this time, Naruto's strength is one of the top few in the ninja world. His strength has surpassed that of the Hokage. Watching too much future battles will indeed affect you. In the future, no matter if it's an enemy like the Akatsuki or Meru, even the Kage of each village will only get beaten up. But each Kage is the strongest among tens of thousands of ninjas. I can't wait to see Naruto beat up the clones and that old thing. On screen, Naruto took out the forehead protector and tied it on his forehead. The clone roared and rushed towards Naruto. Dieter threw out several clay spiders. Boom boom boom. The smoke that rose after the explosion choked everyone in Konoha and made them cough. The unaffected impure world ninja rushed into the crowd and fought with the Konoha ninjas. Because of the Sage Mode, Naruto had the upper hand from the beginning of the battle. For a moment, the scene fell into chaos. Hidden, holding a sickle, approached Ino, Shika, and Joe, and soon scraped blood with his sickle feet and licked the blood on the sickle with his tongue, then laughed and used the death blood technique. You all go to hell. Seeing this, Sakura, who was fighting with the impure world ninja in the distance, wanted to go over to support, but her legs were grabbed by the impure world reincarnation Gekko Gale, and she fell heavily to the ground. The next moment, white light appeared on Moonlight Gale's body. Sakura, Sani rushed forward to provide support. At the same time, white light appeared on the bodies of all the Edo ninjas. The pupils of all the Konoha ninjas suddenly shrank in the sky. Dieter held up 2 fingers. Try my art. Art is an explosion. Boom. Ninja world, only Naruto has the absolute upper hands in the battle. Sage Mode is indeed very powerful. Whether it is strength, speed, or perception, it has been greatly enhanced. Naruto is so strong, but he couldn't even protect his own son in the future. In the end, he died in someone's hands. Even if this terrible ninja world is saved, it will only be temporary. I have already given up. I will live one day at a time. When Dieter first used the explosion smoke to create an advantage for the impure world ninja, I was amazed by his combat intelligence. This level of combat is still within the realm of ninjas. Unlike in the future, those enemies are ridiculously strong. Even if Naruto and Sasuke join forces and Boruto's Rasengan is added, without Boruto, I doubt they can beat those enemies. On screen turn in the forest. Ino, Shika and Joe are chasing after Hidden. If that guy wants to perform the ritual, he must draw the curse seal. We just need to not give him the time. Looking at the direction where Hidden escaped, Shikamaru's pupils shrank. Could it be? His mind flashed back to the last time he fought Hidden. The corners of Hidden's mouth curled up the other side. Naruto easily dodged each of the clone's attacks, and each time he dodged, Naruto counterattacked. After being knocked away, the clone looked at Naruto standing there and rushed over with an angry roar. Boom! The clone was knocked away again. Gradually, the half of the clone's face turned into Naruto's, and every time he coughed, a black snake would come out of his mouth. Finally, it turned into Naruto with a tail that was panting, its face full of anger at having its power suppressed. What's wrong? Your power? Naruto, who was standing opposite him, spoke slowly. So far, I have learned a lot of important things from many people. Just now, I learned another important thing from a super powerful person. My power is not Rasengan, Senjutsu, or Nine Tails Chakra. My power, Naruto held his thumb up against his chest. Here the clone roared towards the sky. The other side. Sakura slowly opened her eyes. Sai just smiled. The rest of the Konoha ninjas were also fine. Ningxi looked puzzled and asked, "There is no ninja who has been resurrected through the impure world reincarnation?" Kai said, "It seems that they are being treated as abandoned pawns." In the forest, Hidden was tightly entangled by the shadow. A smile appeared on Shikamaru's face, finally caught hateful. Shikamaru smiled and said, "Your ability cannot be used without someone's assistance, because you need too much preparation time. Ninja world, good boy, the situation has completely reversed. I thought Naruto could convince the clones. After all, Naruto could even convince Sasuke." Hidden died at Shikamaru's hands, and he was defeated by Shikamaru again the second time. Konoha is known as the cradle of geniuses, and it's no joke. The outcome has been determined. If nothing goes wrong, this mission is over. I hope the next video won't be about the future. Even if the sky falls and there's a tall person holding it up, I'll still feel a lot of pressure. I'll probably be worried every day for a while. As long as I don't see those things, I won't feel any pressure. On-screen assistance? In that case, as he spoke, the expression on Hidden's face suddenly became relaxed. The smile on Shikamaru's face disappeared, and he looked back at the sky behind him. Madara said to Hidden, "Really? You really are a worry to me." The other side. Just as Dishonest was about to press the switch on the instrument, his wrist was locked by a piece of wood that suddenly appeared. Of course he was unwilling to give up. As soon as he stretched out his other hand, his arm and waist were locked tightly by wood. Yamato's voice came from behind him, "That's it. How can I lose here? Give up?" The emotions on Dishonest's face changed from unwilling to ferocious. "How can I give up in a place like this?" he roared and slammed his forehead hard on the instrument switch. Seeing the instrument turned on, Dishonest's mouth curled up at this moment. Whether it was Naruto who knocked the clone away again, or Doc and others who were on the run, they all looked in the direction of Dishonest. Chapter 496 Monster. After a series of earth-shaking movements, a huge beam of light emerged from the top of the Spear of Heaven and shot straight into the sky. The Konoha ninjas were blown away by this tremendous force. Tao was shocked. Just then, Qiu Li hit the big tree next to him. When he turned his head, he saw Kakashi rushing towards him with a kunai in hand. After dodging, Kabuto raised two fingers. Deidara was controlled in midair and flew towards Kabuto. Hidden, who was being controlled by Shikamaru and waiting for Deidara to come over to assist him. "Hello." Hidden, who was completely unaware of the situation over there, shouted at Deidara's back, "What do you mean, Ninja World?" Smile. Hidden, "Why aren't you smiling?" The smile moved onto my face. "This scene is so hilarious. This unlucky child, tisk tisk, hiss. Is this the Spear of Heaven? Just by releasing its power, even the celestial phenomena have been changed." On screen, the sky was covered with red clouds, and there were lightning and thunder in the forest. Small snakes kept falling from Hiden's body. It seems that the cloned snake that makes up your body originally had serious flaws. With that, Shikamaru retracted his shadow with a clang. The sickle in Hiden's hand fell to the ground, and he fell down too. Although it grows fast, its lifespan is short. Just in case, I have prepared 20 countermeasures for the next 20 moves, but it seems that this is no longer necessary. The other city. A bolt of lightning struck near Doc and the others in the sky, scaring them so much that they immediately covered their ears and squatted on the ground. After a moment, Leo looked up. "What was that just now?" Cecil looked at the ground in front of him and was shocked. It collapsed. The ground here is supported by tree branches. After hearing Doc's explanation, Cecil said anxiously, "Escape from the giant pit?" Sora asked in a low voice, "Teacher, can't the thing stop?" Hearing her words, several people looked towards the spear of sky in the distance. The dark clouds are still spreading outward. Even Tsunade, who was in Konoha village, saw something unusual in the distance. Doc looked at the sky in the distance and said, "The power that enveloped the world is about to overturn the world." Fire Nation Muai village. This power is no weaker than Madara, who became the Sage of Six Paths. Right, it's just that the power seems huge, but in terms of mass, I feel that Madara is still superior. This thing has the power to cover the world. Madara can beat 10 of them. It may look intimidating, but it didn't cause any damage, did it? On screen, Dishonest climbed up, his eyes full of greed. Power. As long as you bathe in that power. Before he could finish his words, he looked up and saw Naruto standing in front of him. Dishonest choked at this time. There was another burst of lightning and thunder above. Naruto turned his head and couldn't help but be stunned for a moment because he saw a claw that looked like a wild beast, and then he saw the whole appearance of the monster. Ninja World, why does this thing look a bit like the black snake that Naruto swallowed? It looks scary and weird. It has 8 snake-like heads and 4 claws. What kind of creature is this? The sense of oppression is too strong. It's almost as strong as Madara-sama during his impure world reincarnation. Can I eat the meat of this monster? Will it be very nutritious? Pure Land Kushina clenched her fists nervously. Such a monster. Can Naruto defeat it? On screen the monster crawled up to Desuno's, raised a claw and slapped him harder. Desuno screamed in fear, and then was slapped into pieces. Naruto created 2 shadow clones to help him condense the Rasen Shuriken after the shuriken took shape. Naruto rushed towards the monster the other side. Kabuto looked at Kakashi in front of him and asked, "Is it really okay for you to continue wasting time with me? It seems that the situation is not good. Don't underestimate us." The corners of Dao's mouth curled up. "Do you have any way to deal with it?" A roar came into Kakashi's ears from a distance. Kakashi turned to look. Naruto was caught in the monster's mouth and couldn't move. The monster opened its mouth and began to gather energy. The next moment, Naruto's stomach was pierced directly by this energy. Naruto's pupils contracted and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Far away, Kakashi shouted worriedly, "Naruto?" At this moment, Deidara appeared behind him. Kakashi sensed the danger and leapt back. Boom boom boom. Under the spear of heaven, Naruto was lying on the ground. Kyuubi's voice came from my mind. "Do you want to die? Are you going to die here?" Boom. Naruto's body was hit by the monster's head. Boring guy. After saying that, Kyuubi chuckled twice. "I can lend you power." Ninja world facing monsters, Naruto has no ability to resist. That strange creature is too strong. The Nine Tails is finally willing to lend Naruto its power. If it delays any longer, Naruto will be killed. Rather than lending power to Naruto, I'd rather see the Nine Tails fight that monster himself. The battle between the 2 behemoths must be very exciting. Kakashi, you must keep an eye on Kabuto. If he gets into trouble, it will be really serious. In my eyes, Kabuto is much more dangerous than that inexplicable Desuno's Fire Nation Muai village. Did you see how calm Kyuubi was? It means that Kyuubi is confident that he can defeat it. If that's the case, how can this monster be stronger than Madara? The difference in strength between the 2 is huge. Why doesn't Naruto use Sage Mode anymore? Even if I use it, it can only last a little longer, and I still can't win. Hokage building. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe and said, "Did Naruto plan to use the Spear of Heaven to become stronger? If he gets this power, how nice would that be?" Shikoku shook his head. Naruto's clone was most likely created by Kabuto using the power of the Spear of Heaven, so, the power of the Spear of Heaven is likely to affect the mind. Sure enough, power is not so easy to obtain. Even a child of destiny like Naruto needs to go a long way. On screen, Naruto murmured unconsciously, "Strength." In the space of consciousness came Minato's voice. "Control power." Naruto slowly opened his eyes. Control power. External. Seeing Naruto being hit by the monster, Sakura screamed, "Naruto!" The next moment, Naruto was enveloped by a huge amount of chakra. "It can't end like this," Minato said softly. "You can definitely do it. I always believe in you." Naruto's face was covered with interlaced black and red marks. Far away, Sakura stopped crying immediately after hearing Naruto's shout. The next moment, an equally huge Nine Tails chakra body appeared in front of the monster. The 2 giants soon started fighting. Naruto controlled the fox formed by the Nine Tails chakra, and punched the monster left and right, causing it to retreat repeatedly. This scene stunned the 3 members of Class 7. So strong, but that's not the Nine-Tail transformation. Chapter 497 Love Story. Kakashi's figure appeared on a tree. He looked around. Did he escape? When he heard the sounds of fighting in the distance, he stopped looking for Dao and hurried over. Sakura looked at Doc and the others who were approaching. "Doc, it's too dangerous here. Go to shelter quickly," Doc said, "but we have to find a way to stop that thing." Hearing this, Yamato turned to look at the spear of the sky. "I understand. We will find a way. Even though I lost my job, I was once the guardian of this village." Doc looked at the tattoo on his hand. "It is my responsibility to protect this place and the giant pit." Seeing his determined look, Yamato nodded and said, "I understand." Cecil behind Doc said, "You can't go alone." Doc knew what she was thinking. "Don't follow me. It's dangerous, brother. With your current physical strength, can you run?" As he spoke, Cecil patted Doc's belly and whispered, "Please, let's go together." Teacher Doc looked at the children behind Cecil. The children seemed to have a premonition of something. Foz begged, "Don't go, don't go." Teacher Doc took 2 steps forward. "Children." At this moment, the ground not far behind him cracked and collapsed. Doc and Cecil looked at each other and knew that the other had made up his mind, so they nodded. The 2 turned around and came to the children. Cecil reached out and pressed Fozzy's shoulder. and gently warned him, "Fotsy, don't be picky about food anymore. Even if it tastes bad, don't be picky. Grow yourself strong so that you can protect everyone." Tears welled up in Fozz's eyes. Doc put his hand on Rand's shoulder. "Rand, you are the older brother, you must cheer up. When everyone encounters difficulties, help each other. Come on." Rand's body trembled slightly. Cecil held Sora's hand. "Sora, take good care of everyone, take good care of Mina." Tears rolled down Sora's cheeks. Foz, who was beside her, wiped away his tears with his arm. "Leo, you may encounter a lot of pain and suffering in the future, but you must help everyone. Come on." Leo tried hard to hold back his tears. He closed his eyes, but he couldn't control his tears. Cecil looked at Mina. "Mina." Cecil wanted to put his hands on Mina's shoulders. Mina turned her head away and stepped back a little. Cecil took hold of her shoulders and pulled her toward him. "Listen to me, Mina, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have hit you that time. You are the only one who noticed that something was wrong with Naruto Nisan, but I didn't notice it." As he said this, Cecil hugged Mina tightly in his arms. "Sorry, the days ahead may be difficult, but I hope you won't give up. Cheer up, and live strong together with your brother and others." Mina nodded dumbly, tears welling up in her eyes, and she started crying loudly. Sakura, who was standing beside her, wiped away her tears with her fingers. Song and Yamato listened to the children crying in silence. Fire Nation Muai Village. "I have already made up my mind to die. I feel like something is going to happen in the end. There are no happy endings for stories on screen, they all end in tragedy. Even Naruto during the sports meet got pooped in the end. I hope nothing happens to them. Otherwise, how will such young children live in the future? Even if they go, they can't help much, right? If there is such a day in the village in the future, I hope our guard team can also have such determination." Naruto's house. Watching Cecil and Doc giving their last words to the children in advance, Naruto was so moved that tears welled up in his eyes. "On screen, although the time I spent with you was short, I was very happy. It was a truly happy time. Thank you. I love you all." After that, Doc and Cecil stood up and walked over to Yamato. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the children in your care." Sakura responded. Yamato said solemnly, "We will do our best to protect them." Doc nodded. Caesar. As he said this, he grabbed Cecil's hand and ran towards the instrument under the spear of the sky on the road. If we can escape this disaster, if you can escape this disaster, get married." Cecil was startled and stopped at this time. A beam of power hit the two of them. Cecil jumped up and knocked Doc down to protect him. Boom. After the aftermath of the explosion passed, Cecil raised his head and looked into Doc's eyes. "You finally said it. No matter what, we must survive." Ninja World. The power arc isn't actually about making Naruto understand power, but rather the love story between these two, right? Although I have a feeling there will be tragedy. Come on, you must survive. Doc must be really regretting not training hard before. He always fails at critical moments. If Cecil died because of him, he would definitely feel guilty for the rest of his life. Somewhere in the ninja world, Boruto looked at his palm. "Strength? If it were me, I would rather use my own power to protect the people I want to protect than to be protected by others." On screen, the monsters' heads came together and a beam of power came out of their mouths, destroying the Nine Tails chakra body. Naruto roared, gathering chakra around him again, and grasped the monster's head in his hand. The monster opened its mouth and gathered energy in its mouth. The nine-tailed fox controlled by Naruto condensed into 4 arms, holding the monster's 4 heads, and a beam of energy shot into the sky. Kyuubi clenched his remaining hand into a fist and punched the monster in the face, knocking the monster's head off. Naruto's mouth curled up, and cracks appeared on his face after punching the monster in the head again. He let out a crazy laugh. The other side, Doc and Cecil found the instrument to unlock the Spear of Heaven. "That guy said that this thing is controlled by pattern combination. What kind of combination?" "Do not know." Doc looked at the instrument in front of him, beads of sweat breaking out on his face. After an unknown amount of time, he suddenly raised his head and recalled the tune that Mina had hummed. "I see, the song that Mina hums." As he spoke, Doc came to the instrument and pulled out the 2 strings. It was a tune that the child had often hummed before. When he said this, all the sounds had been pulled out by Doc under the Spear of Heaven. Deep red bubbles were bubbling all over Naruto's body. Kyuubi laughed in a low voice. Soon, a layer of white skeleton grew on the body of the Nine Tails chakra body. Kill. Destroy. Destroy the whole world. Ninja World. I am narrow-minded. Doc still plays a very important role. Hurry up, Doc. Naruto is almost dying. Naruto has been eroded by the Nine Tails chakra. If this trend continues, will he turn into a monster to protect the ninja world? On screen, Doc looked at the 7 iron pipes on the ground, recalling in his mind the order in which Mina had played the xylophone. This will definitely work. Chapter 498, A Reincarnation. Kakashi looked at the current state of the Nine-Tails chakra body and was worried about Naruto's condition. Naruto, the nine-tailed fox turned to look at him and slapped him with one claw. Boom Naruto, not good. I have completely lost myself. What? The monster opened its mouth, and energy gathered in its mouth. Beams of light emanated from its mouth, cutting through the surrounding rock walls, earth, trees, and the Nine-Tails chakra body. The Nine-Tails chakra body fell to the ground. The instrument in front of Doc flew out the earth and cracked. As soon as Doc raised his head, he saw the ground beneath Cecil's feet breaking and about to fall off the cliff. Clang! Doc loosened his grip, and the yin in his hand fell to the ground. Caesar! He rushed to the edge of the cliff and stretched out his hand. Caesar! Cecil took 2 steps forward, leaped forward, reached out and held Doc's hand. The children, Sakura and So in the distance, were shocked to see what was happening on the other side of the cliff. Doc's arm was bearing Cecil's weight, and the wound on his arm had not healed yet, so blood had already flowed to the back of his hand. His face was filled with pain, but he was still gritting his teeth and holding on. Climb up quickly. No, it seems to be dislocated. Across the cliff, seeing the situation was urgent, Sai wanted to help, but as soon as he took a step, he stumbled and fell to the ground, and the scroll in his hand flew out. Zioing, heal me quickly. Quickly, Ninja World. Is Sai injured? He's the only one who has the ability to fly, and he can only use it after Sakura heals him. The tragedy that happened before has happened again, Alice. I have already guessed the ending. It seems that it is Cecil who died, and Doc will live in self-blame and pain every day from now on. Destiny is a cycle. On screen, the Nine-Tails was still attacking Kakashi. Seeing this, Yamato used wood release to tie up the Nine-Tails. Kakashi landed beside him. I'm sorry, nothing. It's just that the Nine-Tailed fox is too strong. I don't know how long I can restrain it. Across the cliff, Mina saw Naruto inside the Nine-Tails chakra. Her eyes trembled. He is in pain. After saying that, she ran over Mina. Leo cried out in worry and followed far away as the Nine-Tails struggled violently. Yamato could no longer hold on. Not good. We have to think of another way. Kyuubi exerted force and the wood that bound his body was broken free. Seeing the situation here, Sakura and Sai also ran over here. Kyuubi stomped his feet, and the children who came running over were knocked to the ground. Mina stood up and looked up at the Kyuubi in front of her. The Nine-Tail raised a paw and slapped Mina below. Mina just looked at Naruto in the Nine-Tails chakra and said to him, "Don't give up." Naruto opened his eyes. Ninja World, I don't understand what Sakura and Sai are thinking. Although Naruto is more important, now that they have recovered some of their strength or injuries, they should rescue Cecil. They can't help with Naruto. Did Sakura and Sai forget about Doc and Cecil? As expected, the only person you can rely on at critical moments is yourself. A man can't be too weak. I'm going to get up early tomorrow and start exercising. Mina was a great help. Mina can even see Naruto's condition directly. Could she be someone's reincarnation, or bloodline limit? On screen, cliff crack. Looking at the slightly cracked cliff, brother, let go. Cecil closed his eyes, not daring to look at Doc above. I am mentally prepared. Doc's bleeding arm was shaking slightly and his forehead was covered with sweat. No, I won't let go. There's no time left. Don't worry about me. Go and stop the spear of heaven. I won't let go. I will never watch my beloved fall again. Cecil's eyes widened slightly at Doc's words. I like you. I have always liked you. At that time, I tried my best to catch you, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, so I won't let go. Rather than letting go, I'd rather fall with you. Cecil raised his head and responded to his confession. I am the same. I have always liked you since then. Doc was startled. Cecil looked at him with tears in his eyes. Even if I am taller, even if you are getting fatter and balder, even if you are weak and afraid of things, even if you keep avoiding me, I still like you. Doc's tears fell down in big drops. But who will protect the children? Only you. Only you can save the children's future. Doc's face was filled with pain as he listened to her words. But, across the cliff, the Nine-Tails chakra body became smaller and smaller, gradually turning into a hideous tail beast state. Mina stretched out her hand and pleaded softly, please, save them. I want to save my friends. Mina looked across at Naruto, who hadn't fully regained consciousness yet. Saved yet? And Mom? Naruto thought back to Minato's words. I believe you, the power of the right. I believe you. Rand yelled, brother Naruto. Sora shed tears. Please, save them. Save our dad and mom. Several children shouted together as the voice fell. The tailed beast coat on Naruto's body dissipated, and his whole body was wrapped in golden chakra. Naruto looked at his hands, feeling the changes in his body, feeling a little confused. Pure Land. Minato breathed a sigh of relief. If I remember correctly, it's Kyuubi chakra mode. A smile appeared on Kushina's face. That way, Cecil will be fine. Her tone was full of confidence. In Naruto Ninja World, the children's pleading almost made me cry. Well, Cecil won't die, as long as they survive. The bond between Doc and Cecil will be unbreakable. After returning, Doc should exercise more, and Cecil should lose weight. If something like this happens again in the future, you can pull it off longer. From the look on Naruto's face, I can tell this is his first time experiencing this kind of power. On screen, Cecil's hand slipped a little from Doc's grasp. Save the world. Protect the children. Doc's tears fell on Cecil's forehead. I love you, my most precious. Having said this, Cecil lip-synced, then swung his body outward, used his feet to gain leverage on the rock wall, and pushed back hard. Now Doc could no longer hold Cecil's hand. Watching her falling, Doc felt so heartbroken that time seemed to stand still at this moment. Tears fell from Mina's eyes, but before they hit the ground, Naruto moved. His speed was so fast that it left an afterimage. Just as Mina's tears fell to the ground, Naruto caught Cecil, who was still falling. Pure Land. Danzo looked shocked. Although he had seen large-scale battles on the screen, this scene still shocked him. This old man seems to I have a more intuitive understanding of Naruto's strength. Chapter 499, Naruto and Sasuke vs Kaguya. It wasn't just Danzo who was shocked. Mina's tears and Cecil's falling speed. Experts know the ins and outs of things. The stronger a person is, the better he can understand Naruto's speed. Izuna's eyes widened. With the speed, even if the Sharingan can capture it, it will be difficult to react. The Kingdom of Thunder U9 Village Killer Bee gestured with his fingers. Yo, Naruto's speed reminds me of someone. A-tailed Ashiki. Is this person the one who defeated you and your elder brother many times on the battlefield? Idiot. Asshole. And you too, Hachi. Fire Nation Muai Village. Naruto's house. Naruto himself exclaimed. Wow. So fast. Sealed space. Kyuubi lay on the ground and asked lazily, do you know how powerful I am? Naruto nodded obediently. That powerful guardian fox. Can you lend me your power? Kyuubi asked. Now. Naruto looked surprised. Can I do it now? Kyuubi sneered. No. Do you really think that my power can be controlled by just any little kid? Uchiha Clan Land Mansion. Uchiha Guang lowered his eyes slightly, not very interested because she can always remember that future information. Boruto is considered by everyone to be the murderer of Naruto. A story about power plus Naruto's transformation into a jet fighter in public could not divert her attention. Hokage building. Hokage's office. Shikaku said with emotion. Before, I could only see these ridiculously powerful guys destroying buildings in an exaggerated way on the screen. In fact, that kind of power is simply beyond my imagination. Fugaku swallowed. This was only the speed of the Nine Tails chakra mode, and it was already faster than his reaction. Then add the Sage mode. What about the power of the Six Paths bestowed by the Sage of Six Paths? Just like what Shikaku said, I know you are very strong, a strong man at the top of the pyramid of the ninja world, but we can only estimate your strength from your devastating destructive power and the enemies you have defeated. I felt a little confused before, but now with the reference just now, my understanding of Naruto and Sasuke's future strength has become clearer. Somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto scratched his head. It only takes a moment for tears to fall to the ground, and at this moment, Dad had already run so far and saved Cecil, who fell off the cliff. It turned out to be so fast. Only the slow motion on the screen can show it clearly. Future Sasuke has a complicated expression at this moment on the screen. He seemed to be fusing the Eye of Eternity. Naruto, on the other hand, mastered the Sage mode and used the Nine Tails chakra mode, so at that time, my strength was inferior to Naruto's. On screen, Cecil opened his eyes, looking stunned when Doc saw Cecil being rescued by Naruto. A feeling of surprise called recovery of lost things hit his heart. The children opened their mouths slightly and stared at Naruto blankly. Naruto raised his head and shouted towards the top of the cliff, Uncle, stop the thing. After hearing Naruto's reminder, Doc finally came back to his senses. From his surprise, he stood up, picked up the sound on the ground, and ran towards the instrument that shut down the Spear of Heaven. The monster opened its mouth, focused its energy towards Doc, and shot a beam of light out of its mouth. Boom boom boom. Doc was blown away by the aftermath of the explosion behind him, and after falling to the ground, he rolled twice. Naruto jumped to the top of the cliff holding Cecil, and then rushed towards the monster. Don't make trouble. The oncoming energy beam was blocked by Naruto's Rasengan, and he continued to approach the monster. He jumped high and landed on the monster's head. Almost in the next instant, the monster let out a scream. Doc's thigh was injured, but he still gritted his teeth and endured the pain and crawled to the front of the device. He endured the pain, climbed up, and inserted the sound into the instrument. At the same time, Naruto condensed the Rasengan in his hand in midair and pressed it on the monster's head. Doc roared. raised his palm, and slammed it hard on the instrument switch. Mina's lips moved, then a smile appeared on her face. The light of the spear of heaven gradually dimmed. The monster vanished into thin air. Doc lay helplessly on the ground with a smile on his face. Then there was a shot of Doc and Cecil and the children hugging each other tightly. Final scene. Mina looked at Naruto, who was walking over, and ran over with a happy look on her face. Naruto's brother. When she ran in front of Naruto, Mina stopped and looked at Naruto's belly. She was a little scared, but finally she plucked up the courage to hug him. The children also ran over excitedly. Naruto brother, Leo tackled Naruto to the ground. The cheerful laughter spread far away. It's so heavy. Hey, Doc and Cecil also came to Naruto. Thank you for saving me, Naruto, thank you. Thank you so much. Naruto smiled and gave a thumbs up. Ninja World, I said my last words, but I didn't die. Will Cecil feel embarrassed when he thinks about it in the future? It's great to see a smile on Mina's face again. They are all alive and so happy. It's rare to have such a happy ending. Although Naruto is not very reliable most of the time, he is still the most reliable at critical moments. Haha, little brats. Now you know how strong Naruto is as a hero, right? It's over now. I'd rather see Doc and Cecil's lives with their children than the bad things that will happen in the future. The title means that Naruto and Sasuke are fighting against the ancestor of chakra, finally waiting for you, somewhere in the ninja world. Black Zetsu narrowed his eyes. I want to see what means you used to steal my mother again. In fact, it already had a guess in its mind, but it just didn't want to admit it on screen. Looking at Kaguya, who had occupied Madara's body, Naruto had a serious expression on his face. This is what Grandpa said, Akatsuki. Kaguya. The two sides soon started fighting. Naruto and Sasuke were caught in Kaguya's hair and thrown away. Kaguya's hair attacked the two once again. Sasuke gathered Chidori in his heart and cut off the approaching white hair one by one. Then, he continued to rush towards Kaguya. Naruto just shouted out in worry when he was knocked away by Kaguya's hair with two bangs. Naruto and Sasuke's bodies fell heavily on the hard stone. Sakura turned her head stiffly and watched Kaguya walk past her. Kaguya opened her Byakugan and looked at the chakra in Naruto and Sasuke's bodies. Right here, as she said this, Kaguya used aim no Mai. Naruto's eyes changed, and he arrived in the lava space. I will destroy you here. Naruto, Sasuke, Obito, Sakura, and Kakashi fell rapidly towards the lava below. Sasuke held up two fingers. Psychic, boom, a ninja hawk appeared, and Sasuke landed steadily on its back. The ninja hawk grabbed Naruto with its two claws and flew upwards. Chapter 500 Combat Wisdom. Kakashi tied the Qiu Li with a long unfolded scroll and nailed it to the rock wall. He held the scroll in one hand and held Sakura in the other, while Sakura held Obito, who was still unconscious, in her hand. At this moment, the forward protector on Sakura's forehead fell into the lava and melted instantly. Kakashi's pupils shrank. It's not an illusion after all, Naruto, let me make it clear to you. Only the yang power of the six paths in your hand and my yin power can seal this guy in front of you. As he spoke, Sasuke stretched out his hand and showed Naruto his palm. Just then, the scroll with the Qiu Li tied to it began to burn in the middle and Sakura let out a scream. Naruto looked down hateful. Naruto used chakra to extend his arms and tried to catch Kakashi and the other two. Kaguya did not miss this opportunity and released rabbit hair needles in the direction of the two people. Somewhere in the ninja world. Black Zetsu gave Kaguya a thumbs up. It's the perfect time. Mom has such a high battle intelligence. Pull Kakashi, Sakura, and Obito into a no-go as well, so that Naruto and Sasuke can be distracted by these three liabilities. Mom hasn't taken any serious action yet, and those three burdens are already in dire straits, as expected of the mother, Moon. After being baptized by the live broadcast, Kaguya frowned slightly. If it were me, I should try to get close to them and block their movements with the rabbit hair needles to create the best opportunity for the co-killing Ashbone. I should also be on guard against Sasuke's heavenly hand force at all times, but, when that time really comes, can she have the heart to kill the reincarnations of Indra and Azuro? On screen Naruto grabbed the three people who were falling, and Sasuke used Susanoo to block the dense hair needles for him and Naruto. At a certain moment, Sasuke frowned, rolling eyes. Oops, the eagle has been hit by a needle. The eagle under their feet fell downwards with Sasuke and Naruto. Just as he was getting closer to the lava, Kakashi's falling body suddenly stopped. Naruto, you can float in the air. Sasuke's ninja hawk made a bang sound and turned into smoke and dissipated. Naruto formed a seal, created a shadow clone, and pulled the people in front of him. He said to Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi-sensei are in your care. Sasuke said nothing. Near Raichi Cave, Kakashi rubbed his chin, The reason why Naruto can float in the air should be because of the truth-seeking jade, right? Or maybe he has the power of Yang. As for the fact that Sakura and I were holding back, he had nothing to be embarrassed about in the end. He was able to help somewhere in the ninja world. Boruto looked confused. Dad has the ability to fly? How come I didn't know that? Oh yes. Boruto thought of the reason and felt a little regretful, but then he saw the somewhat gloomy expression of future Sasuke. If he hadn't insisted on fighting Naruto, he and Naruto would have more cards to deal with the Akatsuki. It was all because he was too willful at that time. A smile appeared on Boruto's face. Uncle Sasuke, don't blame yourself. Dad has never blamed you. If it weren't for that last battle, Uncle Sasuke wouldn't be the Uncle Sasuke he is today. Future Sasuke was stunned. Boruto, don't you blame me? If Naruto still possessed the power of Yang, those tragedies in the future might have been changed. Boruto shook his head. Even if nothing changes in the future, I will still suffer like what happened on the screen, and I won't blame Uncle Sasuke because I can understand Uncle Sasuke very well. Future Sasuke felt warm in his heart, and he whispered, don't worry, your father and I won't let that happen. On screen Kaguya looked at Naruto in front of her and spoke slowly, I want to once again. With that, she rushed towards Naruto, gather the chakra into one. The two's attacks collided, and the aftermath of the attacks made it difficult for Kakashi and the others to bear in the end. Naruto was knocked away. Sasuke activated Susanoo and shot an arrow at Kaguya. When the arrow got close, Sasuke used his heavenly hand power to switch positions with the arrow. After approaching Kaguya, the reopened Susanoo held two samurai swords and slashed at Kaguya. In response, Kaguya simply extended a hand with an indifferent expression. When Susanoo touched Kaguya's hand, it began to melt. Boom! Sasuke's figure flew backwards. Naruto rushed over to help but was also knocked away. Just as he was about to move forward, Sasuke grabbed his ankle. Sasuke said to him, even Susanoo is useless. After hearing Sasuke's words, Naruto no longer rushed to fight Kaguya, but instead mobilized a truth-seeking jade to turn it into a black disc and let Sasuke step on it. And this thing I use as a foothold is all a blessing from the power of the six-path sage, but if I can't seal that guy, there is no point in accepting the power. At this time a black crack appeared behind the two men. The crack grew bigger and bigger, and Kaguya crawled out from it. She extended both of her hands towards Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke's bodies were stiff, unable to move, and they turned uncontrollably little by little. Facing Kaguya behind them, Kaguya pinched their chins, and two lines of tears slid down her cheeks. Come back to mom. In her eyes, Naruto and Sasuke in front of her had turned into Hagoromo and Hamura. Half of Naruto and Sasuke's bodies were covered in a layer of black liquid. Chakra has been sucked away. Sasuke, half of Naruto's body turned into black Zetsus. When Kaguya saw you too, she thought of her two sons. Very loving, right? Kaguya was sealed by her own son. What a pitiful mother. Somewhere in the ninja world, Heiju's face darkened. Sure enough, mom couldn't bear to do anything to these two guys, so I gave them the opportunity to seal myself again. Ninja world, it seems that Kaguya is still stronger. I thought the two sides would be evenly matched and in a stalemate. Here Kaguya had the opportunity to kill Naruto and Sasuke, but she didn't do it. I even doubt that she didn't even consider Naruto and Sasuke as enemies at that time. When Kaguya was sealed by the six-path sage brothers, she might have had a chance to kill them, but she didn't have the heart to do it. After all, as the ancestor of chakra, he must have many tricks up his sleeve. Although the chakra ancestor looks domineering, he really loves his children, and his heart, love, is only for your own children, right? No matter how pitiful she is, I won't be soft-hearted. I don't want to become a cannon fodder army to resist the Akatsuki. I really want to kick the emperor. This bastard is really the source of all tragedies. On screen a few drops of sweat appeared on half of Sasuke's face. Black Zetsu, who are you? I am Kaguya's child. My mission is complete. Come with me back to the body of my mother, the Almighty God. You are not the only ones who are creating ninja history. Naruto swung his arm and shook off Black Zetsu, who was controlling him. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.